are refusing to pay their rent, but Hightown Housing Association say they have taken legal advice and say rent is still due. Firefighters rescued a man from a flat in Harpenden last night. They were alerted by a neighbour just before midnight to the flat fire in the High Street. 3 of the 4 women who claim they were sexually harassed by the former Liberal Democrat Chief Executive Lord Reynard have renewed calls for his expulsion from the party, despite an apology he issued last night. One of the women, Susan Gashak from Hertfordshire, said she didn't understand why he was apologising now.
It's a very strangely timed apology. I mean, I welcome the fact that he's finally admitted that things have happened and that he has finally said sorry. But it's a very strangely timed apology and I don't understand what is behind it. But I'm grateful that it's come because it's been 15 months of absolute hell for me and my family.
The new Chief Executive of NHS England, Simon Stevens, is calling for a shift away from big centralised hospitals. He says smaller community hospitals should play a more important role, especially in the care of older patients. A Buckinghamshire charity which relies on farmland says the uncertainty surrounding HS2 is putting their future under threat. The Winwood Almshouse Trust uses farm income to support vulnerable residents in 8 homes. Anthony Wood, who runs Portway Farms near Aylesbury, says the high-speed rail line is set to go through their land.
Major problem of trying to work out whether this is going to go ahead or not. We can't seem to increase our potential numbers of cattle because we just don't know where we stand, and the government will not make their mind up finally, I don't think, until after the next general election.
In sport, England continue their World Cup preparations against Peru at Wembley this evening, and ahead of tonight's game, striker Ricky Lambert is set to complete a £4 million move from Southampton to Liverpool. The weather, rain or drizzle dying out this morning with some bright or sunny intervals, a maximum temperature 17 degrees Celsius, and you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
There's a lot of history and heritage to be investigated.
It's all about where you live.
It's a very friendly town and the people are excellent.
And all this week we're featuring Dunstable.
Dunstable's nice and quiet and it makes you feel free.
People generally are quite nice to you.
If you get away from the main road, it's lovely and peaceful.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, I can't do this again. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's Friday, sing hosannas, crack open the Stella. Crack it open. Take the day off work, for goodness sakes. Stay in bed and get drunk with me, please. Mum. Coming up, a very sad story from Hertfordshire. Let's just say if your mum or dad is in a home, you'll probably want to give them a call this morning. We'll catch up with people who are still unable to move back into their homes thanks to a sinkhole in Hemel. And whenever we talk about illegal traveller encampments, we're told moving them on's easier said than done. Well, if that's true, how comes Hertsmere's said it and done it really, really quickly? You'll find out if you stay listening. I'm not even going to bother giving out the phone number right now because you guys don't care anymore.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hey, who wants to hear a song by the American Brian Ferry? I do.
She was floating And she was drifting through the backyard, and she was taking off her dress, and she was moving very slowly, rising up above the earth, moving into the universe, and she's drifting this way and out, not touching the ground at all, and she's up above the yard. The world was moving, she was right there with it, and she was. Hey, hey. The world was moving, she was floating above it, and she was. Hey, hey, hey. She was right about it, no doubt about it. She isn't sure about what she's done. No time to think about what to tell him. No time to think about what she's done, and she was. Hey, 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 hey. And she was looking at herself, and things were looking like a movie. She had a pleasant elevation. She's moving out in all directions. Oh, oh, oh. Hey, 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 the world was moving, she was right there with it, and she was. Hey. The world was moving, she was floating above it, and she was. Hey, hey. Joining the world of missing persons, and she was. Missing enough to feel alright, and she was. 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 Hey, hey, and she was.
I do like a little bit of Talking Heads. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Here's a very sad story. The family of a Hertford pensioner are considering legal action, claiming she may have been dead for 3 days before being discovered at her warden-controlled home last week. 76-year-old Sylvia J was found lying on her bed at Bean River View in Hertford on Friday. Well, relatives say a warden from Sanctuary Supported Living was supposed to check on her every day. Well, Catherine Boyle joins me in the studio to talk about this. This sounds absolutely awful.
It is, and for poor Sylvia J and her family, a terrible shock, but also for her neighbour Jane Praed, who found her. We know that Sylvia had been living there for 5 years, and in that time it seems Jane was her only friend, really. Jane lives downstairs and had become concerned after not seeing Sylvia for a number of days. So she managed to get hold of the keys to Sylvia's flat, went up to check on her friend, and that's when she found Sylvia. The question now is, how long had it been since a member of staff checked on Sylvia? Because the family were under the impression that residents were supposed to get a knock on the door from a member of staff every single morning. But according to Jane, that's not happened since the last warden left, and that was months ago. There's also a policy of calling the next of kin if a resident isn't seen for 24 hours. Again, that didn't happen. Sylvia's daughter Linda says no one from Sanctuary Supported Living contacted her after her mum died, and she was forced to call them on Monday after no one got in touch.
I find this absolutely incredible. I mean, we were saying upstairs, when parents and family members move into care homes or warden, controlled areas, you think that they are going to be safe. You think that people will be checking on them.
And you pay a premium to make sure that they are looked after. Daughter is very upset, understandably.
Yeah.
She says, this is Linda, and you'll be talking to her later on in the programme. She said that she was told that Sylvia would always get a knock on the door at 9:30 every morning. And this has come as a massive shock because her mum wasn't ill as far as Linda knew. In fact, she was a very active woman, and 76 really isn't that old anymore. When they got into the flat, Linda says there were signs that her mother had been sick in the kitchen, but she'd somehow managed to get herself onto the bed, which is where she was found. And Linda is now wondering whether someone could have helped her mother if only that knock on the door in the morning had happened, which is why now she's planning legal action. She wants answers out of the home's operators. She wants to know what happened to the morning visits and how long that's been going on, or not going on, as the case may be. She also alleges that this isn't the first time a resident has been found like this.
What has the care home said?
We contacted them to put questions to them about why Sylvia didn't get that regular knock on the door and why no one noticed that she hadn't come out of her room for some 3 days. And also questioned the policy of ringing the next of kin if a resident hadn't been seen for 24 hours. We had a response from Claire Irwin, the National Services Manager for Sanctuary Supported Living, and this is how it's been written. Our sympathies go to Mrs J's family and friends, and we will extend them every support and assistance at this very difficult time. We're looking into the circumstances and will keep the family fully informed. Mrs J was a vibrant and active member of our community and will be greatly missed.
That's the statement, is it? Wowzers. What a sad story. Catherine, thank you very much. 08459 455 555.
Paperback writer. Based on a novel by a man named Lear, and I need a job, so I want to be a paperback writer. Paperback writer. It's a dirty story of a dirty man, and his clinging wife doesn't understand. His son is working for the Daily Mail. It's a steady job, but he wants to be a paperback writer. Paperback writer. Change it round, and I want to be a paperback writer. Paperback writer. If you really like it, you can have the rights. It could make $1 million for you overnight. If you must return it, you can send it here. But I need a break, and I want to be a paperback writer. Paperback writer. Paperback writer.
Oh, 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. Coming up. Oh, by the way, do you remember Jeff the other day? I'm still not quite sure if Jeff drives or not. Did we get a definitive answer on whether Jeff?
Yes.
Jeff was a driver?
Yes.
Well, did we get a definitive?
Yes.
Let me finish.
Yes.
Did we get a definitive answer?
Yes.
Okay. Jeff's, I'm sad to report, has gone viral. No, hang on, that's a good thing. Jeff's gone viral. He's gone viral. Sarah Millican has been retweeting him.
Is she the same as Sarah Milligan?
No, it's Sarah Millican.
Oh, really?
I don't know who Sarah Milligan is.
Oh, are they not the...
No, 1.1 million followers.
Who?
Sarah Millican.
Oh, I thought you meant Jeff.
Let's put it up on Facebook again. I know we've put it already. Let's really milk it. The whole Jeff call, I think, is going to be in this week's podcast. I don't think, I know.
You know, yeah.
I know it for a fact.
What would you like me to say with the Jeff link on Facebook?
If you missed this, then it's catch up.
Here it is.
Here it is.
Here it is.
If you
Okay.
must it, here it is.
That's clever, thanks.
Kelly Betts is full of good ideas at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a cracking idea for what we're going to do on Wednesday. Don't say it! We'll tease them and tell them later. You can play at home too, guys.
They can.
Kath's going to play, aren't you, Kath?
No, I'm not even playing here.
You'll play here. That's an order.
I've got an idea.
No.
Let's make it... if we make Kath think it's her idea, then she'll be more keen.
No,
to
that's
do-
my trick.
Oh. Hey, Kath, what are you doing Wednesday?
Busy.
What you...
We'll make her, don't worry.
News for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 heading anti-clockwise has been a serious accident, and that's between junction 17 from Maple Cross and 16 the M40. At the moment, 3 lanes are closed and there's a queuing traffic at the moment, and we'll keep an eye on that and update you with more reports. The M1, we're expecting delays between junction 10A for the Kidneywood roundabout and junction 10 for Luton Airport as major roadworks continue there. So far on the trains, no reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thanks very much, Nicola. Excellent stuff. 6:16. It's Friday the 30th of May. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a Hertfordshire pensioner are considering legal action, claiming she may have been left dead for 3 days before being discovered at her warden-controlled home. Residents who had to be evacuated after a sinkhole opened up in Hemel Hempstead in February have been told it will be anything up to 3 months before they can move back in. And firefighters rescued a man from a flat in Harpenden last night. They were alerted by a neighbour just before midnight to the fire in the High Street.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Feel your emotion.
Well, there we go. That's partly why it's partly why, Justin, I hate the 80s so much.
Oh, get out of here. That is a superb song.
It's just that electric piano, that computer drum. I don't know if there was, but I certainly heard in my head saxophone. Yeah. Oh, it was just awful. This is why in the 80s I was listening to good music. I was listening to the Monkees and the Beatles and the Who, and not that rubbish.
What about Simple Minds? What about Duran Duran?
Oh,
come on!
I'll give you Rio.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I'll give you Hungry Like the Wolf. I'm on the found. I'm lost and I'm found. I'm on the hunt. I'm after you. We could do 80 songs that are a little bit pervy. I'm on the hunt. I'm after you. And of course, the Bruce Springsteen grooming song. Do you know what it is?
No. Which one?
Catherine knows it.
No, I don't. I was going to give you a different one.
Hey, little girl, is your daddy home?
What about Roy Orbison? I drove all night, crept in your room.
Yeah. You see, the 80s. The 80s will be next in line for questioning.
If the Big O turned up in your room, you wouldn't kick him out, would you?
I wouldn't. No, he's been dead for 10 years.
I'm just saying,
I would totally wet the bed.
He was alive back in the 80s. You wouldn't kick him out, would you?
If he came in singing that song about the funny little clown, I would be terrified. Get out! Oh, I'd be doing the cross with my finger. I'd be reciting the Lord's Prayer. I'd be throwing holy water, and I always keep holy water by the bed. You never know when demons are going to come a knocking.
Yeah. So you do believe then? You do believe in demons?
I believe in Roy Orbison coming to haunt me.
Your real beliefs are coming out this morning.
For goodness sake. Speaking of beliefs, Justin, I believe that there are lots of big holes everywhere.
Yes, true.
They're huge. I remember we did this story ages ago, and it's all going to get sorted out, and don't worry. Well, it's not. A little reminder. In February, I think it was, massive craters started appearing in Hertfordshire and Bedfordshire, and there was one in Wickham that ate a car. Do you remember that? Someone's driveway.
Incredible.
And it ate their car. Well, that one's been filled in. That was filled in, I think, pretty much quickly the same week. But dozens of people are still living in hotels and staying with friends and family because of a sinkhole. I'm sorry, I'm still laughing about the thought of a ghostly Roy Orbison coming to haunt me. It's because of a sinkhole in Hemmel's Oakridge Gardens. The Hightown Housing Association says there have been further delays which will prevent people moving back into their homes. Well, you went there. Was it yesterday you went there, Justin?
Yes, I went there yesterday. I mean, this was a big news story back on the 15th of February. And, Ian, I've got to be honest, that when I arrived yesterday at Oakridge Gardens in Hemel, I was shocked because the situation hasn't really moved on. It's quite a big estate. It's still fenced off. There's even more bulldozers now. We were told a week after, and we were there live with the experts saying, right, we're here, we're going to be filling in this hole, hopefully everyone can move back within weeks. Well, that's not the situation at all. Only 14 residents have actually moved back into their properties. I've been talking to a couple of them, and here's what they had to say.
We've been told that it will take up to 3 months for the groundworks to be completed.
So another 3 months here?
Yeah, that's right.
And you still haven't got gas, have you?
We haven't, no.
And what's the latest on that? Well, what have you been told about your gas supply?
That the gas contractors and the electrical contractors and BT cannot come back into the site that they need to work on until the groundwork's completed because they're not satisfied it'll be safe until then. We're OK, we've got electricity, we've got running water. There are homes over the other side that have nothing, so they couldn't come back even if they, wanted to.
Susan, you are very close to the sinkhole here. You had to leave your property. How long are you living in a hotel with your family for?
Just over 6 weeks. Bit of a nightmare, really, with 2 kids, dog in a kennel as well, and not really knowing what was sort of going on was the hardest part, really.
So you're back in your home now. You're absolutely delighted about that. Yeah. But as we look out of your door here, we are surrounded by bulldozers. You are effectively living on a building site. What are you being told now?
It's varying. Every week it's going to be 4 weeks for the utilities. Now they're saying 3 months. That could be longer. Don't really know ongoing what is going to be. No one's sort of really putting a time limit on the whole thing. But obviously I can see it's not going to be sort of a couple of months. I'm guessing probably a year, maybe.
Does that surprise you, considering this happened on the 15th of February?
I don't think they realised what they were dealing with initially. I think they thought it was going to be sort of done and dusted pretty quick, and they've hit a lot of problems.
You're back in your home, but without certain utilities. So what are you still without here?
No landline, no internet, and no gas. But because I lived in the hotel for 6 weeks, I don't care. I'm just
Anything's
glad
better.
to be back. Yeah, I'm just glad to be back. It was the worst experience of my life. My little boy's got special needs, and it was just a nightmare. It really was. So
You've got plenty more months of work ahead. The council and the housing association, do you feel like they have done enough for you?
I think Hightown are trying their best, and I don't really think they know what to do. Really, they've done all right by me. They said they'd get mine tested, and they did, and they've done what they can for me. So for me, it worked out. For others, it hasn't, and they're still in limbo.
It sounds like a nightmare, to be honest, Just, doesn't it?
It is a nightmare. Nice sound effect there, by the way. A large number of people over 3 months on still living in hotels, and of course the news now, it's going to be another 3 months. These people, Ian, they just want to go home.
Of course you want to go home. You know, it sounds like a nice little jolly staying in a hotel for a week or so. It's an inconvenience, but actually it can be quite nice. But when it's going on for months and months and months...
Yep.
Oh, dearie do me. Justin, listen, while we've got you on, you do a music show
on
Saturdays, I believe, from 9am in the morning.
Yes,
Wowzers.
9am.
Which big star have you got this week?
Now you were talking about the 1980s. Think about legendary 1980s groups. Come on.
5 Star.
No, not 5 Star. No. Think about classy.
Men
classy
at Work.
80s. No.
Do you come from the land down under?
Think about a load of guys in a studio just playing quality music.
I
Come
know
on.
exactly what you're talking about. The London Boys. You can't have them. They died in a car crash.
Unfortunately, they did. Level 42. I'll be talking to Mark King tomorrow from Level 42.
It's so bizarre. It come in the family. All the things we are on the backseat of the car.
We all have our daddy's arms. What's that all about? Come on.
Eyes, you muppet. It's eyes.
I always call it arms.
Why would you call... We all have our daddy's arms. Did you hear that, Kath?
To be honest, my dad's arms are just the same.
You've got big hairy arms. Yes, muscular, tattooed. Yes.
Song lyrics that we always get wrong.
No,
there's a phone in. Come on.
Yeah, there's a phone in. If we were Wally Webb or something. No.
I've just taken the most amazing call.
What?
From reporter Tony Fisher. Right in, and he said, "Right, Kels, I'm up, so if you want to ring me for a chat, or if you want me
I think that was a private call.
do anything."
Wow.
I'm just saying, you know what it's like when you're up and you're not really doing anything. So I've got the radio on, and if you want anything,
is he fully clothed? Has he got clothes on?
We'll find out, Justin. We'll find out after the news at 6:30, shall we? Why not? How weird.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
4 lanes are closed at the moment between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 the M40. There's been an accident a little earlier on this morning, and there's some wood across the carriageway at the moment causing these problems. In Bricket Wood, rather heavy on the North Orbital Road just off the M at 25. We are expecting delays on the M1 at Luton Spur between junction 10A for the Kidneywood roundabout and junction 10 for Luton Airport as major roadworks continue there. So far on the trains, no reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thanks very much.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. The family of a Hertfordshire pensioner are considering legal action, claiming she may have been left dead for 3 days before being discovered at her warden-controlled home. 76-year-old Sylvia J died at Sanctuary Supported Living in Hertford. Residents who had to be evacuated after a sinkhole opened up in Hemel Hempstead in February have been told it will be anything up to 3 months before they can move back in. 15 households are still living in hotels, 14 in rented accommodation, and 4 households are staying with family and friends. And firefighters rescued a man from a flat in Harpenden last night. They were alerted by a neighbour just before midnight to the fire in the High Street.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England continue their World Cup preparations against Peru at Wembley this evening. It's the last home friendly before the squad play 2 matches in Miami before heading to Brazil. Here's manager Roy Hodgson.
The performances of the players in these last 10 days in training has been so good that it's not going to be an easy choice, and that's how it should be. That's how I expect it to be. So, of course, there are a number of senior players who will undoubtedly feature, but there's a lot of positions around that are up for grabs.
And ahead of tonight's game, England striker Ricky Lambert is set to complete a £4 million move from Southampton to Liverpool. Elsewhere, Milton Keynes hosts the Women's FA Cup final on Sunday between Arsenal and Everton. It's a 4:30 kick-off at Stadium MK. The match also live on BBC Two. In athletics, the Bedford International Games celebrates 20 years by expanding to both days this weekend, with many athletes preparing for this summer's Commonwealth Games. The highlights include Adam Jamili and Mark Lewis Francis in the 100 metres and David Weir and Hannah Cockcroft in the Paralympic events. Andy Murray is into the third round of the French Open and now faces Germany's Philipp Kohlschreiber in the last 32. And in rugby, Bedford have appointed former player Iain Vass as defence coach. It's his third spell at the club. The Blues have named Nick Fenton-Wells as their captain for next season. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
We will play the creepy Roy Orbison song in a minute, but I'm hungering for a little bit of high-necked slap bass. Come on, guys, pretend there's a bass guitar just under your chin and slap that bad boy.
How can it be that a love carved out of caring, fashioned by fate, suffers so hard from the games played once too often, but making mistakes is a part of life's imperfections. On all the years, is it so wrong to be human after all? Drawn into the stream of undefined illusion, those diamond dreams, they can't disguise the truth that there is something about you, baby, so right. I wouldn't be without you, baby, tonight. If ever our love was concealed, no one can say that we didn't feel a million things and a perfect dream of life. Gone, fragile but free, we remain tender together. Not so in love, it's not so wrong. We're only human after all. These changing keys, they add to your confusion. Oh, when you need to hear the time that told the truth, because there's something about you, baby, so right. I couldn't live without you, baby,
Now listen, it's probably not cool to admit this, but I like a little bit of level 42. I like the Levs.
I like a bit of slap bass.
You got to be careful when you say the Levs because people might think you mean the Levellers, and I cannot stand those crusties. Go and get a haircut and a wash and play some decent songs.
Oh. That was quite a big part of my youth, that one song.
What was the level of song?
There's only one way of life, and that's your own. Yes, your own. Yes, your own. And so on.
Well,
Repeat to fade.
you really took that message and that ethic to heart, didn't you, posh girl? Tony Fisher's on the line. Morning, Tony.
Good morning, Ian. I went to see Level 42 in Paris.
When?
Years ago, and I didn't actually go to see them. I went to see the support band. How sad is that?
Who was the support band?
Do you know what? I can't remember.
Wow. So
it was something called The Blessing or something. They weren't around for very long, but I knew one of the guys who was involved with it.
Didn't they do a song called Graceland?
Who?
No, not the Who. I'm thinking of the Bible. Wasn't there a band called the Bible? They weren't religious. Wasn't Christian rock. I got tricked into going to a Christian rock concert once.
Wasn't religious.
So Tony, you're up and about.
I'm up and about. You know, getting my lycra on, ready to go.
Go where?
Anywhere. Hey, you know what? I was thinking about Jeff. I think we're going to have to go for a drive with Jeff.
No way, he reverses out.
Jeff is an 80-year-old gentleman who we think we know he drives. We're not 100% sure.
Well, we certainly know roughly where he lives, don't we?
We know exactly where he lives.
Yes,
we know exactly where he lives. I think we should go pay a visit to Jeff.
What, now?
Let's go on a breakneck drive with Jeff.
All right, well, why don't you, Tony? That can be your mission this morning. What on earth is he doing?
I don't know.
It's weird, isn't it?
Why is he wearing lycra?
I don't know. Why is he up? Why is he phoning us? He works here. He can come on any time he wants officially.
Hey, I just want to correct Justin slightly.
Yes.
Now, you know, I don't like to correct my colleagues on air, publicly like this.
But
you love it.
Yeah, I love it, you know. He said 14 residents back in Oakridge Gardens, Sinkhole. 15 households. 15 households.
15 households are back in or out?
15 households are back in. Right. 15 households are living in a hotel.
Okay.
That makes 30. 14 are in rented accommodation.
Hang on, I'm with you, yeah.
And 4 are staying with friends and family.
Right.
That's the number I was thinking of.
Yeah, okay.
How did he do that?
30, that makes 44, that makes 48.
Right, Tony, I'm going to cut you off now because this is really weird.
No, it's...
08459 455 555. What on earth was going on there? Oh, he's lonely.
It's Tony.
No, listen, I like Tony, particularly when he gets angry and disrupts meetings. That's the best Tony. You like that Tony too, don't you?
Well, I'm the one trying to take the meeting, so sometimes that Tony can be somewhat tedious.
Tony is very, very naughty. He's a very naughty boy.
I love Tony Fisher. Sometimes I would like to smack his bottom.
You did send me a text yesterday saying, I want to kill Tony Fisher. So I don't know what that's in reference to. Hey, I can tell you how to feel sexy, girls.
Oh.
Just thinking.
Finally.
No, this is in the Daily Express. How to feel sexy. A new hairstyle. A sunny day. Walking in high heels. So imagine, right?
On a sunny day with a new hairstyle and high heels, we'll be unstoppable.
You will... No work will be done because you'll be feeling fruity rooty tooty.
There'll be cars crashing behind us as we walk down the street.
Those are the top 3.
Builders falling off scaffolding.
There's
It'd be
more.
awful.
There's more.
Oh, God. Right, go on.
Freshly applied lipstick. So not that mankily old applied, freshly applied lipstick.
Right.
Shaved legs.
On yourself or someone else?
And a golden tan.
Oh, well, I can never get that.
And also, you can feel more confident and sexy by learning a new skill and booking a holiday. Now, where has this research come from? It's not from the Institute of Ladies in California. It's not from Hot Patooties up in Hull. No, it's from Kia Motors, the car company.
Oh.
Kia Motors. Kia Motors.
Why?
They're probably saying that you should be driving their tiny little girls' cars.
Well, they should have put that top of the list. You need to have a word with the marketing.
There's a tip for you, ladies. A new hairstyle, sunny day and walking in high heels. You're going to feel so hot, baby. You're not going to want to stop. What you got in the papers, Kath?
A terrible shock for a little dog.
Oh. Already this is a brilliant story.
A poodle.
Oh, yeah, I hate those guys.
Justin Dealey used to have a poodle.
Yeah.
Great big one. Like that one off of EastEnders.
What was it called? Willie? Roly.
Used to always be told to get out.
The joke about...
Has anyone seen my...
Willie?
Yeah.
Is the same as Mrs. Slocum's pussy.
Yeah.
It's
the polar opposite, but yes.
It's sexual badinage.
Yeah.
Yeah, OK.
I think that's what they were trying to do, repeatedly.
Yeah, OK. Have you seen my Willie? Fun times.
Yeah. But then her husband was called Willie, wasn't he?
I didn't know she had a husband.
Yeah, I think I had.
Who was the first person ever to die in EastEnders?
On the first day, it was the
first episode. What was his name?
Eddie.
No.
Landlord.
No. I've just reminded because of Willie.
Charlie.
Reg Cox.
Oh. A poodle is lucky to be alive after getting an electric shock when he cocked his leg against a lamppost.
That'll learn him.
Youch.
Dirty little sausage.
2-year-old Scampy.
The dog. I mean.
Scampy.
Scampy? Oh, for God's
sake. With an IE, not like the fish thing.
Oh, that's okay. Fair enough, yeah.
I once asked a boyfriend what Scampy was, and he gave me a ridiculous answer that I believed.
What is Scampy?
Well, I think it's some kind of big prawn thing. But he told me it was their things that they didn't need anymore.
I'll have a dozen of them then, please.
Oh, he was a wag. Was. 2-year-old Scampy was blown across the street by 240 volts. Wow! Don't laugh. We've not found out whether he survived.
He was blown across the street. Wow.
240 volts while out on a walk. His owner, Ernest Reed, 68, feared the worst.
Why is it funnier that it's an old man?
When he found his pet quivering in the road in Swindon, Wiltshire. Oh, can you imagine the scene?
Yeah, I can.
He said he was deeply traumatised. It was very upsetting. He's part of the family.
Yeah.
I don't know what I do without my dog. I rely on him for companionship. OK, let's all calm down.
That's sad.
It's thought a burning moped was in contact with the pole, causing the electrical wires to fuse and short-circuit.
What?
This is a crazy sequence of events. Ernest, a retired electromechanical engineer, he's come up with a theory, said he'd smelled burning as he took Scampy for his evening walk, but he smelled burning after.
Who burned the Scampy?
But didn't realise it was coming from the lamppost. A Scottish and Southern Energy spokesman said, "We were advised there'd been an incident involving the electrocution of a dog. We responded within half an hour and it was made safe." What, the dog or the...
Yeah.
Poor Scampy.
Poor Scampy. One Direction really are... Have you seen that One Direction have been tweeted by other bad boys of rock? The Rolling Stones and Snoop Dogg have kind of sent messages saying, keep it real. That was Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg is partial to a funny fag, isn't
he? Likes magic moments. I once... I wish I had this on video cassette. I once freestyled with Snoop Dogg. And that's not freebase. I freestyled. I think it was Snoop Dogg.
That's why you wish you had it on video.
It may have been Coolio. Either way,
they're very different artists.
Well, it's the same kind of slightly rubbish music.
Yeah, but Snoop's a little bit more D-O-G, double G. He does that whole thing, doesn't he? Whereas Coolio's a bit more
I'm sure it was Snoop Dogg.
Right, OK.
I freestyled with him.
You remember the voice?
Yeah, you've given it away. I freestyled with him, and I wish I had it because no one believes this. I was better at improvised rap performance than he was. I blew his mind.
I simply don't believe it.
I know! This is why I need evidence of it. I've got no evidence apart from my hazy... It was on telly and everything. And then we had one of the Big Brother contestants on. I remember it so vividly, Federico. And Federico kept saying it was on 7 o'clock in the morning.
Which one was he?
He was a horrible one who thought it was really funny to say a really rude swear word on live breakfast television.
Silly.
And I said, Federico, you can't say that. What? Why can't I say bagger? You can't say... Why can't I say... And then Snoop's next to him going, hey, man, why can't he say bag of... You can't say that. What? Hey, man, why Snoop, why can't... Hey, man, why can't he say
Don't
bag
encourage him, Snoop.
So I had to tell them off and get up and walk to another part of the studio and cry. Anyway,
Good story.
Anyway, One Direction, storm grows as fans say, we want to try drugs too.
Hang on, shouldn't that be people say stupid stuff on Twitter?
Children as young as 11 vowed, and if you make a vow on Twitter and Facebook, by the way, guys, that's legally binding. Children as young as 11 vowed on social networking sites to try cannabis for the first time, saying one of the band members looked hot. Lady Gagulliver says, I just turned 11 and I don't know what a blunt is, but I want to smoke it. Tina says, I want to try smoking weed with the boys. I want to know what it feels to be high. Cristal says, so my parents just told me if I want to try weed because One Direction do weed, that I should do it in front of them. Ha 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 ha. And Pale Derwin says, but I actually want to try smoking weed. I want to know how it feels.
I would like to gather all those young girls together and take them to see my former neighbour who was a cannabist and a right state.
That'll learn you. That'll learn you.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 heading anti-clockwise, closed at the moment between junction 17 from Maple Cross and junction 16, the M40. Been a major accident there, and at the moment some recovery works taking place. We can see on camera that the traffic that's being trapped at the moment is being allowed past in lane 4. Taking a look in North Watford on the North Western Avenue, that's looking slow around the Dome roundabout. And in Bricketwood, rather heavy on the North Orbital Road just off the M25. So far on the trains, no reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, man, Nicola, you're never going to guess what just happened.
What happened?
Right, well, earlier on in the show, I don't know how far I need to go back to make this story relevant. Earlier
Can we not use any names?
Tony Fisher.
Oh.
Earlier on in the show, Tony Fisher, you won't know him, he's one of the team, and I use that with a small t and in inverted commas and in italics. He called up, OK, and he had a chat with us, Nicola.
Yeah.
You still with me?
Still here, still here.
OK, great stuff. And then Catherine just said, not about Tony Fisher.
Oh, no, too late.
It was about Tony Fisher. I think he's a bit deaf. Right?
Yeah.
So guess what I did, Georgina? Nicola. Kelly. Who are you? Nicola. Guess what I did?
What did you do?
I went, huh? And then Catherine went, I think he's a bit... Oh, flipping it. Yeah?
Brilliant. It's a good story, wasn't it?
That was amazing.
Right.
Amazing.
And he's got me into massive trouble with my colleagues, so thanks for that.
That's a pleasure. Nicola, that was disrespectful, but never mind. We're back to Alice next week, aren't we?
Indeed.
Thank goodness for that. Funny stories. 6:47, it's Friday the 30th of May. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a Hertfordshire pensioner are considering legal action, claiming she may have been left dead for 3 days before being discovered at her warden-controlled home. Residents who had to be evacuated after a sinkhole opened up in Hemel Hempstead in February have been told it will be anything up to 3 days before they can move back in. And firefighters rescued a man from a flat in Harpenden last night. They were alerted by a neighbour just before midnight to the fire in the High Street.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. Quite a cloudy start to the day. Some spots of drizzle around too, but that cloud does gradually thin out and we'll get some breaks to allow the sun to shine through, but only really in spells. There'll still be a fair amount of cloud at times. A largely dry day. We could just have the odd light shower here and there, with temperatures reaching 15 or 16 degrees Celsius. Tonight it should be a largely dry and quite a clear night as that cloud fades away. So slightly cooler than it has been recently, with temperatures down to 8 or 9 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow, some sunny spells, largely dry, 1 or 2 showers again, with temperatures reaching 16 or 17 degrees Celsius. It's certainly going to be the better day of the weekend. On Sunday, there's a bit more in the way of cloud and always a possibility of a shower, so any sunshine is going to be a little bit more hazy. But from Monday onwards, we've got some more of those outbreaks of rain. There should be some drier, brighter spells as well, but it's going to be turning a little bit drizzly. That's your latest forecast.
Every weekday morning from 9.
Good morning, welcome to the JVS show.
Your local stories.
Have you had to rebuild your life after being a victim of crime? Do you think it's inhumane to keep people in prison for life? Do you think that immigration needs to stop?
Your local life.
Why do 70% of this country feel immigration is wrong?
We've actually got an open doors policy.
I am just so angry listening to some of them people.
What the government will do, they'll start introducing American-type sentencing, like 200 years in prison.
The JVS show.
British people are not xenophobic.
Weekday mornings from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Kelly Betts.
Kelly Betts. Oh, I thought it.
No, that's your introduction. That's the biggest jingle the budget could afford.
Oh.
Catherine, we'll come back to you shortly, but this is Kelly Betts' turn to shine.
I'm giving way.
Your mic's off.
Why?
Because it's not your turn.
Mean?
Kelly, her mic's off, your mic's on. Take us away.
Thanks.
Do the introducing bit.
Oh, BBC Introducing is a show every Saturday.
I'm not going to turn your mic on again until she's finished this. This is her moment to shine.
8 p.m.
They can't even hear you.
It's
Good.
all about new music from
We'll
where
do the story
you
in
live.
a bit.
In Bedfordshire, Hertfordshire and Buckinghamshire. Every week
We'll do the
I
story in a
pick
bit.
a song for us
Don't give it to Drive.
play on the
Is it?
Three Counties playlist.
Well, I'll
it's
do it in a
from
minute. I
an
want it.
artist or band
It's a good one.
that BBC Introducing
I'll
have
do it. I
been
want it. It's a good one.
supporting.
Okay.
This
She's still doing her
week's
thing.
band is called
Goodness sake.
Indie
Give me
and
the
the
nod
Vegas.
so that I can press the button.
They're a three-piece pop punk band from Bedfordshire. This is Overload.
Take it easy, make it sweet. Man, when she taunting me, she drive me to my feet. She get me to the floor to feel her beat. Dance, we dance, and dance, we dance, dance, and dance, we dance, dance. Exceeding expectations. Take it easy, make it sweet. Man, when she taunting me, she dragged me to my feet. She get me to the floor to feel her beat. Dance, we dance, that's how we dance. And now the dance. Dance, we dance, dance, dance.
Let's have a party.
Do you like to conga?
Yes, I like to conga. Do pineapple. Oh. Yeah. Oh, gonna have a dance now. No one does the conga at parties anymore.
I do.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you go out of the building?
That's the only reason to do a conga.
A conga is only good. Conga! A conga is only good if it leaves the building and goes round the building, maybe around the cul-de-sac, then back in, and you come back with a homeless man somewhere on the end.
Do you want a conga story?
Oh, no!
My friends did a conga in Mexico, my Spanish friends.
Wowzers.
They're approaching the tent where the conga's happening. All the music stops. Everyone turns round. They kick the plug out.
Oh, man!
And the Mexican said, and welcome Spain! Everyone turned round. They were ashamed.
Wowzers.
Let's do a conga.
Who was that artist, Kelly?
That was Indie and the Vegas.
I'm going to send Indie and the Vegas a signed piece of paper.
Please
because I think they deserve it.
Because he'll be very happy about it.
And he's going to send me £5? Excellent stuff, indeed. Now, Catherine, you've got a story in there. I'd like
I think it's more drive though than you.
Well, why?
Because it's about some pigs.
Hang on a minute. We do the dog electrocution stories. I do the pig stories.
We've already breached the
contract.
Boundary. Yeah.
Sorry.
To be fair, Drive do the animal stories.
They also do the space stories.
And the space stories.
So these pigs better not be in
sneak one
space.
in? It's only a tiny one.
Go on, let's sneak one in. What?
Police are searching for thieves who swiped 50 piglets from a farm in Devizes, Wiltshire.
Whoa! Piglet thieves! Come on, guys!
How hard is it? I mean, you're not going to be able to get rid of those at the pub?
I bet you could, actually. If someone came up to you in the pub...
I'd have one, but I wouldn't have 50.
Well, exactly. They've got to find 49 other suckers. Like, I'd have one. That's 2 pigs. They're down to 48 within seconds of entering
I
that
might
pub.
get 2 because they probably like company. They're quite clever. So 4 gone. You'd have 2.
Oh, go on then. 1 for each boy. Yeah, fine. OK, Kelly, do you want some pigs?
Yeah, I'll have 3.
There we go. So that's...
No. We become fences.
Pig fences. Pig bag. We're down to 43 pigs in just a matter of moments. These guys are going to make a fortune.
Who else would have a piglet? Call me now.
08459 455 555. Now, this morning, Kelly Betts, who, let's be honest, isn't the most creative member of the team.
Oh, that's not true. She makes the prod card sound good.
She makes the coffee taste good.
I do other things.
For example?
Well, I put my creativity into other shows.
Fair play, I'll give you... But you do make the prod card sound good, and for that... We must be able to win some kind of award for the prod card. There's got to be like a prod card awards, isn't there?
Why don't we make one and then we'll always win?
Fantastic, gold.
Another creative idea from...
You came up with the most fun idea I've ever heard in my life, and even Grumpy Cass, who's dead against it at the moment, is going to be for it. What's your idea?
On Wednesday...
Yeah.
The whole team.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the whole team.
The whole team. Even Simon Oxley, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Come into work.
Yeah.
At the normal time.
Yeah.
Wearing the same clothes.
Boom shakalaka, and you're invited too, listener.
You know we've all got them.
Yep. Kelly came in with a pink tee on, a pink T-shirt, and I said, "Oh, is it?" Oh. I bought a pink shirt yesterday. I bought it. I was being brave. I was being bold. It looks awesome, guys.
What kind of pink is it? Like salmon or?
I don't know. It's pink. You don't have shades of pink.
Pink, like Kelly pink.
There's only one shade of pink.
No, there isn't. There's a various.
Of course, there's not. There's pink.
You got magenta. Isn't puce a pink?
Puce isn't a pink. I thought. Anyway. I got a pink. You're pusillanimous. Don't know what that means, but
it means virginal.
You're unpusillanimous. So, and I said I've got a pink shirt. From the
French word pucelle, which meant maiden. I did old French at university. That's why I'm not dressing up on Friday.
How can the
Wednesday,
people,
whenever it is, I'm not dressing up.
How can the people in Berkshire that live in Maidenhead go to sleep at night? You know what that means, don't you?
Yes.
You don't, do you?
No, I'm still thinking of pink.
OK, so I said I got a pink shirt. Brilliant. And then you came up with the idea that the team...
Well, actually... I know that me and you have the same clothes.
Yeah.
I don't know about everyone else.
Where are you going, Kath?
I'm not involved in this, am I?
No, you're totally doing it.
Kath, do you have a green Sergeant Pepper style jacket?
No.
I've got a spare one. I've actually got a spare one.
Have you?
Yes, I have.
I know you do. Kath, do you have the pink top?
No.
I'll buy you one.
Jeans?
No.
You've got all of these things.
I've got a pink top.
No.
Yours is probably pusillanimous.
Have you got... you've got denim jeans?
We'll work on her.
Yeah.
Dealey has all of these things, although he wants us to wear orange. Plum. Only plums wear orange. So orange. Wednesday, and you guys can play this at home.
I'm starting to feel a bit...
Pink
Peaky,
tops,
I might have to have next week.
blue jeans, black shoes, and a green jacket. And
No. You don't wear black shoes with blue jeans.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, of course you do.
What are you talking about,
What are you talking about, Willis?
No.
High five, Kels.
High five on that.
Let's discuss this off air because you are contractually obliged to do what I say.
I think that tribunal found it was otherwise.
I'm appealing. Very appealing.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 heading anti-clockwise closed at the moment because of an accident between junction 17 from Maple Cross and junction 16, the M40. Motorway was closed at around 6:40 this morning, and there was an accident that happened, so there's wood across the carriageway at the moment. We are seeing that traffic's being allowed past in lane 4, but there is a diversion in place via the A412, the A40 and the M40 at the moment. Elsewhere in Boreham Wood, looking rather slow on the Barnet bypass between Stirling Corner and the Watford bypass. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. Dearie me. There's lots to talk about. I literally cannot remember any of it. Let's listen to Simon do the news and regroup straight after, shall we? See you on the other side.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. The headlines. Hertfordshire pensioner may have been left dead for 3 days. Residents face further wait to return to Hemel Hempstead homes. And man rescued from Harpenden flat fire.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The family of a Hertfordshire pensioner are considering legal action, claiming she may have been left dead for 3 days before being discovered at her warden-controlled home. 76-year-old Sylvia J died at Sanctuary Supported Living in Hertford. More from Tony Fisher.
Sylvia J is understood to have been found lying on her bed in her flat in the Bean Riverview home in the Port Vale area of the town on Friday last week. She was only discovered after a fellow resident and friend raised the alarm. Her family claim she should have been visited every day by a warden. Sanctuary Supported Living say they're looking into the circumstances of Sylvia's death.
Residents who had to be evacuated after a sinkhole opened up in Hemel Hempstead in February have been told it will be anything up to 3 months before they can move back in. 15 households are still living in hotels, 14 in rented accommodation, and 4 households are staying with family and friends. Some are refusing to pay their rent, but Hightown Housing Association say they have taken legal advice and say rent is still due. Susan Lewington has moved back home but is still without some services.
No landline, no internet and no gas. But because I lived in the hotel for 6 weeks, I don't care. I'm just glad to be back. It was the worst experience of my life.
Firefighters rescued a man from a flat in Harpenden last night. They were alerted by a neighbour just before midnight to the fire in the High Street. 3 of the 4 women who claim they were sexually harassed by the former Liberal Democrat Chief Executive Lord Reynard have renewed calls for his expulsion from the party, despite an apology he issued last night. One of the women is Susan Gashak from Hertfordshire.
After 15 months of saying, this isn't true, these women aren't believable, he's now saying, yeah, well, maybe something did happen. And that's really bringing the party into disrepute. And the party bodies and Nick need to actually stamp on this and say it's time to go.
The new Chief Executive of NHS England, Simon Stevens, is calling for a shift away from big centralised hospitals. He says smaller community hospitals should play a more important role, especially in the care of older patients. A Hertfordshire council says joint action with the police meant they could disperse an illegal traveller camp in just over a day. The group set up on council land in Boreham Wood at the weekend. More from Carol Abercrombie.
Environmental health officers from Hertsmere Council worked alongside the police, using a combination of legal powers to move the travellers on from Wansford Park. The police were able to remove them on Saturday night, as the council, which owns the land, had already taken reasonable steps to ask them to leave. The council say they always look to take firm and swift action in these cases.
In sport, England continue their World Cup preparations against Peru at Wembley this evening. And ahead of tonight's game, striker Ricky Lambert is set to complete a £4 million move from Southampton to Liverpool. The weather, rain or drizzle dying out this morning with some bright or sunny intervals later. A maximum temperature 17 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
I think it's a great place to live, personally. It's got a lot of things for people growing up.
And all this week, we're featuring Dunstable.
Best part of Dunstable, the Priory Church. It's just full of history and I love it.
Dunstable Downs, which attracted us to come here.
It's all about where you live.
It's a lovely town. It's got a great history.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's a busy old morning. A lot of things happening in beds, hearts and bucks. Coming up, a very, very sad story from Hertfordshire about a lady who died in a warden-controlled care home. It's possible she wasn't found for 3 days. We're going to catch up with people who are still unable to move back into their homes thanks to a sinkhole in Hemel. And whenever we talk about illegal traveller encampments, we're told that moving them on is actually really, really tricky. So how come Hertsmere did it really, really quickly? If you want to see a video of Catherine and Kelly trying to... I'm not sure what they're doing. I think they're trying to fix a microphone stand. It's like watching Laurel and Hardy at work. You can go to facebook.com/BBC3CR.
I can't believe you filmed that.
What?
Just us trying to fix something.
And there's that moment when you turn around and realise you're being... That moment we've all had. We turn around, we realise we're looking stupid and we're being filmed and our hearts sink and our anger raises as we realise a friend has betrayed us.
yet again.
Fun times. Or you can give me a call. Best way to get in touch, give me a call. You know the rules. You can call in about the stuff we're talking about, or you can call in about pretty much anything. Even members of the 3CR team have started doing that this morning. 08 459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, if you've got a mum or a dad or a grandparent in a care home or a warden-controlled home, as I know lots of you have, you'll want to listen to this story. Serious questions are being asked after a pensioner was found dead at what is supposed to be a warden-controlled home in Hertford. 76-year-old Sylvia J. was only found when a worried friend managed to get hold of the keys to her flat. It's thought she may have been lying there for 3 days. Sylvia's daughter, Linda J., joins me now. Good morning to you, Linda.
Oh, hello. Morning.
Morning, Linda. What was Mum like?
Mum was a star. Mum wasn't the normal old age pensioner. She wasn't a normal person. She was unique. That's what she used to call herself, the star of the building. She was. I don't know. She was special. She was unique.
What was so special about her? Can you describe it?
The way she dressed. She used to dress like a woman, like Madonna. She used to call herself. I'm in shock of what's happened to my mum in that home. She was different. She wasn't. Yeah. She was unique. She was different. So this was a shock anyway, because she had no illness previous. She had been to the doctors a few days before. Her blood pressure was fine. So.
How old was she, Linda?
76.
76, which these days is no age at all, is it?
Well, not for her, it wasn't anyway.
She was quite feisty.
Yes, very. But at the same time, she was childlike. I can't explain my mum. She needs caring. Yeah. She was feisty, but she was childlike. She needed to be looked over.
How long has she been living in this warden-controlled home?
I've got about 5 years. 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what did you think? Did you believe the setup was in terms of there being a warden there?
Well, every 9:30 every morning, the residents got a knock on the door. That was what was part of me putting my mum in, because previous to my mum going there, she was in a care home for 8 years. After 8 years, they said that she could go out now, she could do most things, and they suggested to me that I put her in a warden control, and I said no, because my mum was still, in a way, she was a child, she needed looking over. I was her next of kin, so I said no, and they reassured me that if she was put into a warden control, she would have a knock on her door every morning at 9:30. That she would, that knock. So say I went on holiday, I wasn't worried that my mum was, that knock was like, to me, was my mum's safety net. Because previous to this, like about 1.5 years ago or 2 years, she had fallen, she had slipped when she got out of the bath, and the warden that was knocked on the door at 9:30 came in, and they said, oh, your mum slipped, she's okay. Do you know what I mean? That 9:30 call, vulnerable people in a warden control need that. And that is what they're responsible. That is what they're getting paid for. They're paid to look after these old people that are vulnerable, that live alone. That's what it's called. And in the past 2.5 years, I don't think they've had a warden on there proper full time.
So you're saying they've not had a warden living there, but one would supposedly go in?
In their warden control, there's someone downstairs and they stay there so many hours.
Right.
And that person every morning goes around the building. They still do it now. And what they've done is they've asked residents to opt out of the scheme. Supposedly they've asked my mum, and my mum said no, she doesn't want that knock on the door. They've got no right to do that. I don't know if my mum said that.
She wasn't. We've heard from one of her neighbours who we'll be speaking to later on that she wasn't a fan of the knock on the door, was she?
Oh, I don't believe. No, I don't know.
Right,
No, I don't believe that.
Right, okay.
I believe my mum wanted. I don't believe that. I think my mum was a follower. As I said, my mum, because of Jane, the lady that you're going to speak to at 8 o'clock, she's a resident there.
Yeah.
She opted out of it.
Right.
Because she's got her husband living with her. So my mum's gone along with her. My mum's a follower. She's like a child, hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, so my mum's opted out of it because that woman there you're going to speak to, she's a strong-minded woman, the one you're going to speak to, one of the residents. She's got an husband living with her. So if she slips and falls, she's got someone with her. My mum, I don't see how my mum would have opted out of it. She would have let me know. I was very close to my mum.
Yeah.
She should have said to me, Linda, I don't like this knock on the door. She never told me that. I used to be on the phone to her every morning, and I used to hear that knock like about over a year ago. She used to say, Linda, Janice is at the door. I'm okay, Janice. That used to, as far as I'm concerned, she was still getting that knock. The home never said to me, listen, your mum's opting out of this.
Do you think, Linda,
okay?
if she had still been getting that knock, and we need to find out more about what may or may not happen, do you think that she might still be alive today?
Listen, that's not the issue. She could have been. Say, for instance, she had a stroke 9 o'clock that morning. She collapsed. She was laying there on her bed. She needed medical emergency. That 9:30, they would have got in the door. They would have been able to call an ambulance, and they would have been able to get my mum. And my mum, there could have been a chance that my mum could have been alive today. Yes. Because I will never know whether my mum could have been saved because she was laying dead for 3 days.
And Linda, listen, I should highlight to people listening to this. This all happened last week, didn't it? This is still very, very fresh. So I'm in
shock.
Of course,
I'm in shock for what someone's got to take responsibility, and we're going to go and take legal action, and they've got to give me an answer. Why that knock? Why my mum never got a knock on that door at 9:30? That she was previous getting it. Why did it suddenly stop? Because as you just said, you asked me. Maybe my mum could have been alive now. My mum could have been saved. My mum could have been unconscious on that bed. She could have had a stroke. She could have got on the bus. For instance, she slipped and she knocked. She would have died. She would have died because she was left. There was no one there. I could have went on holiday. She could have been laying there longer. It was only because the lady you're going to speak to at 8 o'clock, she's her best friend. It was only because of her highlighting that my mum. Where's Sylvia? I've not seen Sylvia.
It was the lady we're going to speak to later on, of course, who went into the flat and found him because she hadn't seen her for a few days.
And not only that, what a shock for that lady.
Yeah.
What a shock. I mean, they haven't had a warden now properly for about 2 years, I don't think. Full-time warden. And that's what they're getting paid for. That's what the council are paying that warden for. To care for them vulnerable people. Most of them people haven't got families. They're put in the warden control.
Linda,
I don't know. Sorry that I sound all...
Oh, no, don't apologise. Of course you are. Don't apologise in the slightest. I can't imagine what you must be going... We all hope that when our parents pass on, that it's done in a calm, peaceful way and they're surrounded by people they love. And it sounds like you've,
And then when they put Jane, the lady you're going to speak to at 8 o'clock, pulled the emergency cord, they turned around and said... Go and phone next of kin. And she goes, what are you talking about? I've got to get in the flat now. My friend, I haven't seen my friend for 2 to 3 days. We need to get in that flat. They went, call the police. They went, call the police.
Linda...
And Jane said, sorry.
No, listen, you've got nothing to apologise.
Yeah.
I've got to apologise because we're running out of time and we're constricted by that.
That's okay. Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on this morning. What can I say? You lost your mum last week. I wish you the best of luck with moving on.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for highlighting this because... Thank you anyway.
Linda, it's really nice to talk to you. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you. That's Linda J. That's Sylvia's daughter. We have got a statement from Claire Irwin, who is the National Services Manager for Sanctuary Supported Living, the company that owns... the warden-based property. Our sympathies go to Mrs. J's family and friends, and we will extend them every support and assistance at this very difficult time. We're looking into the circumstances and we'll keep the family fully informed. Mrs. J was a vibrant and active member of our community and will be greatly missed. And as you heard there, later on, we'll be speaking to Jane Praed, who was Sylvia's neighbour and friend and had the misfortune to find the body. BBC Three Counties Radio, 08459 455 555, 7:15. Let's get the travel news now.
Travel news for beds, cards and bucks.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 heading anti-clockwise closed at the moment. There was an accident a little earlier on this morning between junction 17 for Maple Cross and junction 16, the M40. We're now seeing queues from junction 20 for Kings Langley. On camera, we can see at the moment that traffic's being allowed past in lane 4, but obviously causing a lot of delays. Taking a look in Maple Cross, rather slow at the moment on the A412, heading it southbound between junction 17 at Maple Cross and Oxford Road, not being helped by the accident on the M25. The M40 heading northbound's looking slow from the Denham roundabout to the M25, and also there's a lane blocked in Coney Heath, and that's on the North Orbital Road heading westbound at the High Street there because of an accident. So far on the trains, no reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Nicola, thank you very much. Just a little clarification on that last story. That Sanctuary, they don't own the home, they manage the home. Sanctuary manage the home. The home is owned by Quantum Care, but Sanctuary, it would appear, are responsible for the wardens. Right, 7:16, it's Friday the 30th of May. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a Hertfordshire pensioner are considering legal action claiming she may have been left dead for 3 days before being discovered at her warden-controlled home. Residents who had to be evacuated after a sinkhole opened up in Hemel Hempstead in February have been told it will be anything up to 3 months before they can move back in. And a Hertfordshire woman who claims she was sexually harassed by the former Liberal Democrat Chief Executive Lord Reynard has renewed calls for his expulsion from the party, despite an apology he issued last night.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Roberto Perrone.
Gardeners wanting to rid their spring flower beds of snails can ditch the beer traps and eggshells and instead develop a strong throwing arm instead.
Weekdays from 3.
I don't think there's any ethical dilemma about throwing them as opposed to killing them. It's clearly better to throw them.
Hertfordshire Police are warning drivers to take extra precautions with their vehicles following a rise in the number of cars stolen using specialised hacking equipment. 2/3 of teachers say poor writing has prevented them giving the marks a student truly deserves.
Roberto Perrone.
I do the animal stories. I also do the space stories, apparently.
Weekdays from 3 on BBC Three Counties Radio. Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, do you remember earlier this year, sinkholes were popping up all over the three counties? That's a slight exaggeration, but there were a couple of big ones. One in Herts, one in Bucks. The one in Wickham, it swallowed a car. It was on a driveway of a family. It swallowed a car. That hole was filled in, I think, within a week. As has the one in Hemmel's Oak Ridge Gardens. Except most of the people who live on the estate, well, they still can't live on the estate. It happened way back in February. Our reporter Justin Dealey has been speaking to residents in the area. One of them is Terry Minns.
Terry, you're quite an interesting case because you are living about 10 yards away from where this sinkhole was, and you actually moved into this property after the sinkhole. You continued with that sale. Some would say that you're a bit mad for doing that. How would you answer that?
I was confident in buying it. The NHBC have guaranteed the house. I've seen the historical maps of where the brickworks was, their boundaries, and it's clearly on the other side of the road, so I was quite happy to go forward with a purchase.
I mean, looking over your shoulder, you've clearly got a very nice home here, but what's it been like living here since you moved in a few weeks ago?
Noisy, quiet of an evening because there's no through road, but the guys that are doing the work, it's noisy, it's dusty, and no one's telling us when it's going to be finished. No one's actually come round to all the people that are affected by the sinkhole and the road closure and actually stated that it's going to be 2 months, 6 months. There's just no information coming out at all.
I know you can't use your garage, but is that what's annoying you most, that there's this lack of information? At the end of the day, you're living with this 24/7, and there's this real lack of information all these weeks on.
Yeah, that's right. They should be doing a newsletter or a flyer, whether it be Hightown Praetorian, and letting all the local residents know when it's going to be done, when it's going to be cleared away. Yeah, it's just painful waiting for it to be opened up again.
I'm shocked by what I'm seeing today. I was here when it happened on the 15th of February, and if anything, this building site has got bigger in the weeks since then. Are you surprised as well over how long this is taking to sort this problem out?
Yeah, I actually think they're finding more problems than they anticipated.
And they're not telling you?
They're not telling anybody, no. And that's why the road's still blocked. But that's about all I can say. I don't really know what's going on because no one's telling anybody.
Well, that was Justin speaking to a resident earlier on. Joined now by David Ketley. Good morning, David.
Morning.
David, now you were evacuated. Have I got this right? You're still living in a hotel?
Yeah, I'm one of the ones that's chosen not to go back still.
Why have you chosen not to go back?
Because we're still not getting that report, and we still haven't got gas, we still haven't got internet, things like that, so some people, like myself, need it for work. And there's also, it's just loads of different issues, really.
Oh, gosh, David, why on earth would you need the internet and gas in the home? You're so selfish.
Yeah,
so what are you being told, then? When do you think things are going to be resolved?
We sat down, me and 3 other residents, with Hightown last Friday. They have put the onus on the contractors and insurance companies, stating that they're giving them poor figures in terms of, like, you should be back in 4 weeks, you should be back in 6 weeks, and then they're putting it out to all the residents, telling us that we should be back in that time. Then they're not meeting those deadlines, and they feel embarrassed. Fact of the matter is if they reported on worst case scenario, said, right, it's going to be another 3-6 months, then if it was better than that, then we'd all be happier. So
they keep giving you dates that you can go back in, and then nothing happens.
Pretty much. They've now said they expect. Well, I think the clear indication last week was that they expect it's going to be at least another 3 months.
Blimey, how does that make you feel?
It wasn't great. Expected, I think, for most people. I think it was expected for all the issues that they've had. But I think it was nicer to have a bit of honesty and a bit of kind of like it probably is going to be at least another 3 months.
Now, how does this work? I'm assuming you're not paying for the hotel, are you? That's covered.
No, we don't pay for the hotel.
But you're still being charged rent on the property that you can't live in?
Yeah, that's correct.
How does that make you feel? That's going to be quite frustrating.
It is frustrating. They've got a lease which is pretty solid according to some legal professionals, and another legal professionals have stated that there is a clause in the contract which, again, could be used to force them to suspend or reduce rent. Now, they've gone through their channels to find out if that clause needs to be taken into consideration.
Because we spoke to the lawyers in the town Underwoods, and they say they have looked at the contract for free on behalf of the Residents Association, and they've told them it is legally binding, which the Residents Association have they accepted that, or are they still going to fight?
We're still fighting because one legal professional's opinion is different to another legal professional's opinion, and as much as we appreciate the help and assistance from them, I mean, we sat in the meeting and stated, hold on, the communal area is damaged. The contract clearly states if the communal area is damaged that there will be a reduction or suspension of rent. The road is not used. Part of our contracts is that we have a parking space. We can't use our parking space, therefore our actual full contract is not fulfillable. Therefore, you surely have to do something regarding the rent. I mean, I've spoken to Lease Advice Service, I've spoken to legal professionals, another person has spoken to his own solicitor. His solicitor stated that he has a case. The Lease Advice Service stated to me that maybe I should go through some kind of mediation with other residents to find out if there is some outcome that we can all come to. But it's just extra strain and stress, which we don't really need.
Of course it is. It must be very pressured.
Yeah, and they're an organisation which is partly funded by, partly public funded. So in our eyes, they should be giving something back to the community instead of kind of take.
It does seem odd. Yes, the hotel's being covered, as one would expect, but it does seem odd that you've got to pay rent on a property that you can't move back into because it hasn't got all the facilities that you need.
No, in a normal situation, if you're renting, the rental insurance, if it was 100% rented, the rental insurance would cover the rent that the freehold owner would be losing. But because it's shared ownership, there is that difficulty. Right. Okay. We're still paying our mortgages, which you would do if you weren't there anyway, but your insurance company would cover certain things. But because it's shared ownership, there is that difficulty. I think the most frustrating thing for residents is in the very first meeting we stated, are you going to cover certain expenses, what are Hightown going to do? And their response was, the mortgage that we have, we don't insure, we don't have the money to, we don't have the cash reserves to cover your rent for a certain amount of time. But then they go and buy the HSBC building, boast of a £43 million turnover by the bank court in Hemel Hempstead.
They should put you up in there. They should get a nice little ensuite and put you up in there.
I don't know. Well, they're using the same contractors again, so I wouldn't want to.
David, listen, we've got to end it there. I do hope we get to speak to you at some point in the not too distant future. And you're telling me you've got your bags packed and you're going back in and everything's sorted. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you.
No worries, Steve.
David, thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555.
On FM, AM, online and digital radio.
This is Iain Lee.
On BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's time for Dennis's call.
Good morning, grandson.
Guten Morgen, mein Grandpapa. Das ist gut, ja?
Ja.
Ja?
Ja.
Ja.
Anyway, how are you?
Do you know what, Dennis? I'm all right. I've lost a little bit of weight recently, and I'm rocking it. I'm rocking the slim look.
Don't worry, I've found it.
Where is it?
On my stomach.
There we go. You see, I knew it would work if I did it like that.
Just pass it on. It's one of those genes, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, fair enough. The young lady who says next Wednesday you're all going to come in dressed the same way.
Yes. Are you in? Well, you want some? You want a piece of the action? Piece of the pie?
No, you should carry it to the extreme and come in with nothing on. Then you'll all be dressed the same.
What? Are you crazy? Coming to work in our nudie clothes?
Yes, why not? Then we could the audience could guess what you were wearing.
Is this not Dennis?
Yes.
It won't work. We won't all be wearing the same thing.
Why?
Because some have dangly bits.
Well, all right.
Don't speak about Catherine like that. She's a mother of two.
Hang on a minute. Little ladies have got dangly bits.
Right, OK, can we just stop this, for goodness sake? So this is... You're what?
I think you'll find I'm surprisingly limber, regardless.
OK, so let's move away. Dennis, I need a favour from you, my friend.
Carry on.
Could you give me £10?
Would I give you 10? I'll lend you £10, but I want the interest as well.
I don't need your money, and I don't need snouts. I'm not a slave to nicotine, but I am a slave to numbers and podcasts. And we recorded the podcast links yesterday.
Yes.
Kelly Betts, the podcast producer for It Is Indeed Her, What Done Put It Together, aren't happy with it, Dennis. So I need a favour from you, right?
Yes.
I need you to introduce the podcast.
And what the hell's a podcast? I've heard of Snailcast. Podcast. What's a podcast? Don't forget, I still live in the last century.
Excellent, we've got that. And now I need you to say, coming up, we'll find out if Jeff drives.
Coming up, we'll find out if Jeff drives.
Great rehearsal. Let's try and do it, but with a bit of passion now.
Oh, I see. So start again.
Beep. Hang on. The beep is the edit point. Okay.
Yes. We'll now. Beep. We will now.
Don't do your own beep. I'm doing the beep.
Who's doing the beep?
I'm doing the beep.
Well, I'm not doing it. So what? Hang on a bit. Beep. What do you want me to say now again? You've upset me. You've upset me now.
You're upsetting me.
No, because
You're never too old for a knuckle sandwich.
My memory is not as good as it used to be.
What are we talking about?
I don't know. You were talking to me. I have no idea what you're talking about.
This is a terrible idea. Coming up, we'll find out if Jeff drives.
Righto. Are we ready? Beep away.
Beep.
Coming up, we will find out if Jeff drives.
No, we'll, not we will. We're trying to make it hip for the kids. No one says we will.
We will. You want we will?
No, I don't want we will. We won't. We'll.
Wee Willy Wonky. Yes, all right. We'll. Are you ready? Beep. We'll find out.
Coming up!
Coming up!
Coming up, we'll find out.
Now listen, you're messing away.
No, you're messing away.
No, you should be looking after me. What? I'm a very old man now.
Right, okay, are you ready? I'm going to do the beep. Coming up, we'll find out if Jeff drives. You ready?
Right.
Here we go, here comes the beep.
Coming up, we'll find out if Jeff drives. Coming up, we'll find out if Jeff drives.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 heading anti-clockwise closed at the moment because of an accident between junction 17 of Maple Cross and junction 16, the M40. We are seeing queues now to junction 20 for Kings Langley. Now, this happened a little earlier on this morning, and there's a shed load of wood across the carriageway. On camera, we can see that the traffic is being allowed past in lane 4, but obviously causing long delays. In Maple Cross, one of the diversion routes, the A412 heading southbound, very slow between 17 at Maple Cross and Oxford Road. The M40 heading northbound, very slow as well on camera from the Denham roundabout to the M25. And there's a lane blocked in Coney Heath, that's on the North Orbital Road just at the High Street. No reported problems on the trains. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, cards and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. The family of a Hertfordshire pensioner are considering legal action, claiming she may have been left dead for 3 days before being discovered at her warden-controlled home. 76-year-old Sylvia J was discovered by another resident at the home in Hertford. Residents who had to be evacuated after a sinkhole opened up in Hemel Hempstead in February have been told it will be anything up to 3 months before they can move back in. And a Hertfordshire woman who claims she was sexually harassed by the former Liberal Democrat Chief Executive Lord Reynard has renewed calls for his expulsion from the party, despite an apology he issued last night.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
England continue their World Cup preparations against Peru at Wembley this evening. It's the last home friendly before the squad play 2 matches in Miami before heading to Brazil. Here's manager Roy Hodgson.
The performances of the players in these last 10 days in training has been so good that it's not going to be an easy choice, and that's how it should be. That's how I expect it to be. So, of course, there are a number of senior players who will undoubtedly feature, but there's a lot of positions around that are up for grabs.
And ahead of tonight's game, England striker Ricky Lambert is set to complete a £4 million move from Southampton to Liverpool. Elsewhere, Milton Keynes hosts the Women's FA Cup final on Sunday between Arsenal and Everton. It's a 4:30 kick-off at Stadium MK. The match also live on BBC Two. In cricket, Lancashire have confirmed that former England captain Andrew Flintoff has come out of retirement to play for them in this season's 2020 competition. The 36-year-old retired in 2010 but has recently returned to training with the county.
People have said, it's a brave call. It's not a brave call. I'm playing a game. I'm going to go and play cricket. I'm not in Afghanistan with the troops. I'm not battling illness like you see some kids. That's brave. This is playing a game I enjoy.
In athletics, the Bedford International Games celebrates 20 years by expanding to both days this weekend. Many athletes are preparing for this summer's Commonwealth Games. The highlights include Adam Jamili and Mark Lewis Francis in the 100 metres and David Weir and Hannah Cockcroft in the Paralympic events. And in rugby, Bedford have appointed former player Iain Vass as defence coach. It's his third spell at the club. The Blues have named Nick Fenton-Wells as their captain for next season. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Wee Willie Wonky.
08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. So don't forget, next Wednesday, the team and you are invited. Not here, to do it at home. We're gonna dress up like each other.
Yeah.
The uniform is black shoes.
No.
What? He can't start. That's the first hurdle. You can't falter at the first hurdle.
Because you're going to say blue jeans next, and that will never happen.
Jeans.
Black
on
shoes.
This body.
Black shoes and blue jeans. It's the classic look.
It's classic a la Dennis Waterman.
It's the Minder.
Yeah.
It's the Minder.
Simon Cowell.
Why did they do another series of Minder when Dennis Waterman left?
Lack of ideas.
With that fella. And then didn't they redo it again a couple of years ago with Shane Ritchie?
More lack of ideas.
Why on earth would you do that? Shane Ritchie, I'm sure he's a lovely, lovely bloke, but he was kind of like really big for a while. He had like a record out. Do you remember?
He was in Flushed Away.
Oh, he was in Flushed Away?
With Hugh Jackman.
It's not a very good film, Flushed Away.
It's all right.
It's cheap animation. It's cheap British animation.
Big stars.
Big stars. They scrimped on the cartoons. Do they still do this? Every now and then, they'll do an EastEnders musical special.
They did one a couple of years ago where it was like Shane Ritchie
and Barry.
Yeah, and they was like hosting a concert in the Square. It was like a real special set in Albert Square, and then it would cut to Ian Beale kind of wandering through his house and singing, I don't know, the Carpenters song. Why would you do that?
Because Shane Ritchie and Barry from EastEnders are old redcoats. You have to let them have a run now and again, otherwise they go crackers.
Barry from EastEnders is one of the biggest sweethearts I've ever met in my life.
Oh, really?
He's such a nice man.
I imagine him to be nice.
He's such a nice man.
Do you call him Barry or do you call him Sean?
I called him Sean. I had to just
really,
pause every time.
I think that's very nice, but they should stop him singing.
He's got a great voice! Great voice! He's got a great voice!
He's got a loud voice.
He's got a loud voice! He's got a loud voice! He's got a loud voice!
And I'm happy for him, but I don't need to hear it.
Anyway, so black shoes.
No.
Jeans.
Of the blue variety.
Yes.
Hey, where do we stand on black jeans, girls?
I'm up for a pair of black jeans.
Not for this.
Not for this.
I mean,
no,
for me in life, I've been given... OK, guys, OK.
What are you going to wear it with?
I am buying clothes at the moment with somebody else's dollar. There's nothing more satisfying than buying clothes with somebody else's dollar.
But tell the truth. What were the first clothes you invested in?
No, they were not the first clothes I invested in. They were the first clothes on yesterday's little shopping spree.
You bought pants. I don't think that's what that money was for.
I bought...
Technically, it is clothes.
It's not wearing them on telly.
I bought 50... Well, of course I will be wearing them on telly.
Yeah, but they weren't
£54 worth of pants yesterday.
Did you?
I got rid of all my old pants and bought new pants.
Oh, you must feel really refreshed.
I do feel refreshed, and I also feel less constrained because it turns out that most of the pants I've been wearing have been the wrong size. I bought medium when actually I'm a large in waist.
That explains why sometimes you're so angry.
And it explains why today I'm so relaxed.
Yeah.
I have a little Josh, and I can even take your insults, Kath, with a smile on my face because I know that those bad boys are sitting comfortable.
Okay, nice image.
Thanks very much indeed. So yeah, I bought a load of pants.
So what? Well, anyway, black
So what are
jeans.
you going to wear on telly apart from pants?
Well, I don't know. I might just wear pants. I don't. I mean, I'm always reluctant to tell you the clothes I've bought, Catherine, because
Why?
you get your foot off the desk.
Get my shoelace.
Get your foot off the desk.
No respect.
Because you caused me to throw away a pair of
shoes,
and one of my nicest pairs of trousers you laughed at.
Which trousers were they?
The brown ones with the stripes.
I don't remember those.
You laughed at them when I came in.
Maybe I was laughing at something else.
And yet Paul Scoins came in similar trousers a few days later. He often copies me, and you told him he looked nice.
Maybe I just like him and don't like you.
Maybe you should like that.
I don't remember those trousers. Why would I laugh at your trousers?
Because you don't like the clothes I wear and you want to belittle me and make me small.
Why does that matter to you so much?
Because I'm always seeking approval.
I always give you approval. You never take my approval seriously.
He seeks the approval he can't get.
Exactly. I seek approval from people who I don't respect.
You do know I'm Northern.
I did not know that. You don't. You should make that more obvious by speaking a ridiculous accent. Oh, you do.
I don't give out comps willy-nilly. Not like you lot.
If you don't give out willy-nilly comps, well, that's good to know. So, black shoes, blue jeans, pink top. It can be a shirt or a T-shirt. We're not fussy. We're not fascists here.
Fine. I don't have a pink top.
Fine. Yes, you do. It doesn't matter, Catherine. It can be a T-shirt, it can be a blouse, it can be a frock. I don't even know what a blouse or a frock are. I've got no idea. One of the first books I ever read at the age of 5, it was like Janet and John, one of those books, and in it, Janet was wearing a frock. I had no idea what a frock was, and I was too embarrassed to ask Miss Earl because she told me off on my first ever day at school. First ever day at school, right? First ever day at school, right?
Which day?
The first ever day at school, right? Miss Earl says, right, who knows any poems? Boom, hand up. I know a poem. I've got a poem. Mm-hmm. She goes, Ian, stand up. I see your poem. I stand up. Proud moment. 1, 2, 3. Mother caught a flea, put it in the teapot, made a cup of tea. The flea jumped out. Mother gave a shout. In came father with his shirt hanging out. That is not a poem. Sat me down. Humiliation. First day at school. I think it says a lot.
They're not allowed to do that these days.
They're not allowed to, which in some ways is good because it happened to me, but in some ways is bad because it should happen to others.
Because everyone is special now. Some people don't get told.
Oh, that's brought back a real flush of...
That's a horrible thing
I
to
think
do to
children
kids.
should be encouraged to ask questions, no matter how silly they are.
I can feel that sitting on my
Would
chest.
you like me to tell you what a frock is?
Yeah, I would, actually.
Basically a dress.
I use it all the time.
Really?
People laugh in my face.
Well, I think there are other reasons.
Kath is wearing a frock today.
Yeah, I often wear a frock. I remember a humiliation from school as well that's really stayed with me.
Here we go.
And
Go on.
changed the way I behaved.
Go on. I can feel that on my chest. Isn't that funny? Go
There
on.
was one teacher who, when you look back, you realise that some teachers are bullies.
Yeah.
And she obviously took a real dislike to me.
That's a surprise, isn't it, Kels?
I was cute.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway, and I was the youngest in the school as well.
What, in the whole school?
Yeah.
Well, even
when you're in the 5th year?
When this happened.
High five, Kels.
When this happened, so I was 4, and I still remember this.
What we did was funny, guys.
I'm trying to tell you about a really painful moment in your...
Okay, go on.
Went to the school disco.
4?
Yeah, a little Christmas party.
Flippin' heck.
At the end of it, all the kids were lined up ready to go home.
Yeah.
And each child in turn was given a Kojak lolly.
Who loves you, baby?
Well, not this teacher.
Oh.
Came to my turn, and as she handed me the lolly, she went, "Get to the back of the line." And I sort of... She said, "You must say thank you before I give you the lolly."
Before? No one says thank you before.
Ever since, before anything hits my hand, I always say thank you. And it's because of that, because I was always brought up to be really polite, and I was horrified that she said, "I don't like rude little girls." She sent me back to the...
Let's try it. Kels, hit her hand as hard as you can. See if she says thank you before you do it.
No, not giving me pain.
Oh.
Giving me nice things.
Oh, give her your headphones, because they're nice.
Thank you.
She said thank you before it hit her hand.
She did.
Here we
wait,
go.
let's do this. Here, look. Thank you. No.
Oh,
yeah!
It's that all over again. That's the lolly.
In your face, Pavlov and his
Here.
dogs.
No, here, you can have them this time.
Go on, take it
Thank you.
No.
Ah, yeah!
Great
No,
game.
give it to her now. Go on,
Okay,
give it to her.
Thank you.
No.
Yeah. Hey! Seriously, send it on a nice note. Give it to her now. Go on, that'll be,
Okay.
be nice.
Thank you. Oh.
Let's do that. How were you humiliated at school? Because you're right, some of them are absolute fiddlesticks.
But when we grew up...
I mean, fiddlesticks. I mean, they're just bullies.
When we grew up, we always kind of assumed that the grown-up was right.
Yeah.
And you didn't tell your mum because you didn't really get told off again.
Yeah.
So I carried that for a long time before I actually said something and went, actually, that was out of order.
I had a physics teacher. I didn't like him because, A, I didn't like physics. And B, he was also into cross country, and he made me run cross country because I was tall. I flipping hated cross country, and he hated me. I remember the first month of going to grammar school. Yeah, right. I was getting bullied by some of his pupils. He didn't believe me. He thought I was making it up. Anyway, so in a chemistry lesson, and he came in. Someone had left the lid off a bottle of chemicals. Right, who's left the lid off this bottle of chemicals? Rugby. There's my name there. Rugby. It was you. You've got detention. It wasn't me, it was Ajit Nanda. It had nothing to do with me. It was Ajit. Ajit Nanda did it. Now, I wasn't going to grass him up, but I did say, Ajit, man, come on, why didn't you go... Oh, well, it wasn't me. It was Ajit Nanda. To this day, Nanda.
Do you know what I find interesting, especially about that story?
Yeah. Nothing.
No. That voice you did for the teacher is
Yeah.
the same one you do for me.
Oh, there's a Freudian slip.
Throw them shoes out.
It's true, though.
It's the voice
Something happened to me at school.
What?
Oh, God.
When I was in
Is this
high
going to take it to the next level that we actually don't want
No,
to go to?
no.
Okay, good.
It's
By the way, if you want to tell us when you were humiliated at school, 08459 455
And this isn't humiliation, this is a valuable lesson that I learned.
Okay.
And this is kind of silly little inconsequential things that actually you carried with you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It wasn't you were made to stand on a table and wet yourself. We don't want those stories.
So
Go
me
see
and
a
my friend at
therapist.
school
Yeah.
thought it'd be hilarious if we swapped names. So when the teacher called one of us, the other one would answer. Oh, it was what a laugh we had. And he was calling my name, or the name that I had pretended was my name, and I forgot that was my name, so I wasn't listening. And it was the head teacher of the school. And he said, no, this gets interesting.
Okay.
And he shouted my name, which wasn't my name.
Let's say it was
and said,
Claire.
Claire, get to my office now, in front of the whole classroom. And I said, OK, but you're here. So when I go up to your office, you're still
you made it worse.
Be
Oh, God,
here.
I would feel so anxious in that situation.
I just didn't get his
But
point.
thrilled at the same time.
No, I wouldn't have liked that.
I'm still talking. So he sent me to his office.
is.
I sat outside his office, and I was thinking, I don't really get this because he's downstairs and I'm here. And then other teachers started walking past. And they were like, oh, you're right, Kelly, what are you doing here? And I felt like I was dying.
But you were
I
Claire.
felt so humiliated, and my heart was pounding. I was thinking, oh, my God, I can't believe that I'm out
We
of
finish at 9, by the way.
the head teacher's office. And then my friend, whose name was mine but not really mine, came up and got me about 5 minutes later and said, you can come down now. And I thought, oh, what was the point in that? But really, I knew that he knew that I knew that he knew that I would be humiliated by sitting outside his office like a bad pupil.
He knew that one day you would use that as filler for a local radio breakfast show. So in many ways,
thank you.
Very valuable lesson.
Thank you.
When were you humiliated at school? Not big stuff, not, you were made to eat another child's hair or something in front of the whole school. That's weird. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 heading anti-clockwise is closed at the moment between junction 17 for Maple Cross and junction 16, the M40. Seeing queues from junction 20 for Kings Langley at the moment. Now, this is due to a serious accident that happened earlier on this morning. It's taking about 2 hours to get through at the moment. There is a diversion route in place via the A412 and the A40 and the M40, but we are seeing delays on the A412 heading southbound, very slow at the moment, between junction 17, Maple Cross and Oxford Road. The M40 heading northbound, very slow on camera from the Denham roundabout to the M25, and there's a lane blocked in Coney Heath on the North Orbital Road just at the High Street. So far on the trains, not seeing any problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. 7:46, free 15 minutes of therapy for all of us there. I'll certainly have some of that. It's Friday, the 30th of May. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a Hertfordshire pensioner are considering legal action, claiming she may have been left dead for 3 days before being discovered in the warden-controlled home. Residents who had to be evacuated after a sinkhole opened up in Hemel Hempstead in February have been told it will be anything up to 3 months before they can move back in. And a Hertfordshire woman who claims she was sexually harassed by the former Liberal Democrat Chief Executive Lord Reynard has renewed calls for his expulsion from the party, despite an apology he issued last night.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello there, a bit of a cloudy start to the day. Some spots of drizzle around as well, but it does get slightly better later on. So through the morning, that cloud thins a little and we see some breaks which will allow the sun to shine through. We do hold on to a fair amount of cloud still, but there should be some sunny spells. And we'll have temperatures reaching about 15 or 16 degrees Celsius. There may just be 1 or 2 light showers, but for many of us it will be a dry day. And a dry night too, with quite clear skies, because that cloud starts to fade away through this evening. And temperatures down to about 8 or 9 degrees Celsius, so a bit cooler without that cloud as a blanket. So tomorrow, some sunny spells, largely dry, 1 or 2 showers around though. Again though, for many of us, we won't see those. I think probably the better day of the two for the weekend, with temperatures reaching 16 or 17 degrees Celsius. Sunday, any sunshine is likely to be a little hazy, as it's going to be quite often cloudy. There's always going to be the possibility of a shower on Sunday, but on Monday it becomes quite drizzly again, so we'll have outbreaks of rain, but some drier, brighter spells as well. And that's your latest forecast.
World War I at home on the BBC.
After we'd done all our donkey work, the army saw that we had made good.
Revealing untold stories.
The members of the society would welcome an opportunity of doing something to help the patient and faithful creatures whose lives were being sacrificed in the service of our country.
Discovering local memories.
I need not say again what my predecessors and I have felt as to the immense help you gave the government by allowing us to make trials in secret at Hatfield.
World War I at home.
He asked her to come and organise Rest Park to be turned into a convalescent home.
The torpedo got us in our forward magazine, thereby killing everyone forward.
World War I at home. All next week from 8:15 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
08459 455 555. Apropos very, very little, we seem to have indulged ourselves in 15 minutes of free therapy. Free therapy. And from that, we got a nice little phone note. Things that you found humiliating at school. Not massive things, but, maybe just a teacher made you feel... Richard, put your phone down. We lost you. We need to call you back. Put your phone down. We'll call you back. Gosh, remembering a teacher, Miss Earl, she's long since dead. I would have thought she was very old back then, proper old school, kind of teacher, shouting at me my first day at school because the poem I recited was not actually a poem. I thought it was a poem. Oh, gosh, I can feel that sitting on my chest. How weird is that? Little humiliations at school, please. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. Also, if you can post them on Facebook. If you go to the Facebook page now, you'll see a video of Laurel and Hardy. Not Laurel and Hardy, of course. I'm referring to Catherine and Kelly trying to fix a microphone. So you've never seen anybody so inept at screwing something with their hands. It's ridiculous. Facebook.com/BBC3CR. Richard in Stevenage. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning, Ian.
Richard, what would you like to say, sir?
Embarrassing stories at school.
Yeah, go on.
At lunch and break, we used to fry hot bread rolls with butter in and garlic bread and everything.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was. But there was this one kid at school who thought he would help himself to other people's food. But every day, you'd be sitting there, you'd have your bread roll on the side, he'll just pick it up and start helping himself.
What, to your bread roll?
My bread roll, yeah.
No.
But, we got around this problem because in a tank full of stick insects.
Oh, no.
So one day, we took the biggest one we could find.
Oh, no, Richard.
Put it inside the bread roll, and neatly placed it on the table, waiting for it to be consumed.
He didn't, did he?
He did.
Oh, he had a crunchy roll.
He got halfway through, and then we asked him to have a look inside it.
Oh, of course, you've got to make him know exactly what's going on. What was his reaction when he saw that he was getting a little bit of extra in there?
He went a little bit green, but needless to say, he didn't do it again.
Do you know what he should have done? And looking back now, if I was a kid now and that happened to me, I'd have gone, oh, yeah, nice one, tasty. And I'd have finished the roll off. I'd have finished it off. That would have taught you a lesson, wouldn't it? Richard, that's blown Richard's mind. That's what you've got to do. Kids, if someone
Style it out.
You've got to style it out. If anyone ever puts a stick insect in a roll that you've stolen, you've got to thank them and finish it and say, that was delicious.
But that's a lesson that you learn as you grow older, I think, and more confident.
Yeah, kids don't know that.
No.
I should be...
Dead arm is how I would have retaliated.
I should, you get like people who mentor people like, into business and into work and into, to get them off drugs and all of that kind of stuff. I should mentor 13-year-old boys on how to style it out. I was a pretty good 13-year-old, but I could have been so much better. With hindsight, I could have been so much better. How do I do that? How do I get in touch with some 13-year-old boys? Put them in their place.
Yeah.
No?
Well, if you wait another 11 years, you'll have two of your own.
Oh, flipping it, those guys. Now, whenever we talk about illegal traveller encampments, we get loads of reasons why it's easier said than done to move them on. Oh, they're legal rights. Oh, we can't do that. Oh, no, we can't just go in there. Well, how come then one Hertfordshire council has managed to disperse a group in just over a day? Jean Hayward is the councillor responsible in Hertsmere Borough Council. Good morning to you, Jean.
Good morning.
Jean, where had these travellers made their camp?
In one of our parks, on one of our open spaces.
And how many vehicles were there, roughly?
We issued 15 notices on the Friday night, and the police blocked the road, so there was a few more trying to get in, but they weren't able to get in, so there would have been more, but...
So what, they came on the Friday, you issued the notices on the Friday, is that right?
Yes, because you can.
OK, and then when did they go?
The police moved them Saturday morning.
How is this possible? Jane, I'm shocked because we particularly in Beds, Herts and Bucks, we hear so many stories of travellers rocking up and they're there for a week or they're there for a month or, they can't be moved on. How did you manage to do it in less than 24 hours?
We got a call from one of our local police officers on Friday evening about 4 o'clock. We sent our Chief Environmental Health Officer down there straight away. He issued 15 notices to the travellers. You take their registration numbers, and there's an act that under Section 77 of the Criminal Justice Act, we issued these notices for them to move immediately. And once we've issued those notices, it then gives the police the power to issue an additional notices to move them immediately. But what we did was we issued the notices. They weren't very happy, of course. Then the police stayed there all night to make sure that nobody else joined them. And then Saturday morning they moved them on, which they then have an act and a power to do exactly that, and that's how we did it.
And did they go peacefully, or was there a little bit of argy-bargy?
They went peacefully, but as peacefully, I suppose, as anyone will go like that. Okay. You know, I mean, they've made sort of like tried to make a base camp, and you know, we moved them on straight away.
Why do you think other councils struggle to get action so quickly?
I'm not sure. I mean, all I can say is that from our point of view, we have. You know, we're fortunate enough to have a fantastic environmental health officers that know exactly what they're doing, where they're coming from, and we work very, very well with... we're not very far away from our police officers. We've got fantastic community police officers. We liaise with them all the time. We have meetings with them all the time. And I think the partnership, it's partnership. And because we have such a great partnership with them, you know, we were fortunate enough to be able to deal with it straight away.
Was it easier because it was council-owned land? Could you have done this if this was a little bit of land that I owned, for example?
Doesn't work the same.
Right.
No.
Okay. So, all right.
It doesn't work the same, I'm afraid, because we are the landowners. We can issue the notices straight away. If it's somebody else's land, it's a little bit different. But, you know, courts still have the power to issue notices for immediate disbursement.
Jean, I'm kind of speechless by this because so many times on this show and on Jonathan's show, we hear stories about, you know, travellers turning up and they're there for age. We can't get rid of them, it's really difficult. You've made it sound so simple.
I'm not sure that it's simple. I just think we happen to be in the right place at the right time.
OK, Jean, listen, we've got to move on, but I appreciate your time. We may be coming back to you on that at some point. If and when it happens again somewhere in Beds, Herts and Bucks, I'm sure we may get you on as some kind of advisor. Jean Hayward, the councillor responsible on Hartsborough Borough Council for moving those travellers on in less than 24 hours. Arthur's in Milton Keynes. Good morning to you, Arthur.
Good morning to you, young sir. How are you?
Do you know what, Arthur? I'm all right. I'm going to go for a fry up after this. Going to have some bacon and some sausages and some hash browns. I've got new pants on, so I'm living life doesn't get any better than this.
No. This is situation. I've just had an argument with my dear wife.
Oh dear.
Oh, she that must be obeyed.
Yes.
And basically, I'm going to start up a bit of a furore here.
Oh, wait, we like a good furore.
Do you have what's best? Red tomato sauce on your sausage sandwiches in the morning, or brown?
Where are you from, Arthur?
Milton Keynes. I'm your listener from Milton Keynes. You've only got one.
I know. And you've been in Milton Keynes. You were born and bred in Milton Keynes, were you, around that area?
Since the 70s.
Where were you before that?
London.
Okay. And your wife, is she kind of a southerner as well?
No, she's a northerner.
Right, so she likes brown sauce, you like red sauce?
I like brown sauce.
What? You traitor to the cause!
No. Brown sauce, you've got HP sauce, you've got to have it.
It is disgusting. No. The Southerners...
No, come on.
Hang on a minute. Let's go to my... we have a regular northerner working on the show. Catherine?
Yeah.
What are you looking so upset for?
I'm sorry, I'm watching Good Morning, This is Britain. Wake up and shine.
It's got a little subtitle. You like brown sauce opposed to...
Love it, with meat, yeah.
Yeah, you see.
The only way.
It's a northern...
With a fried egg, ketchup. With meat, brown.
Yes, I agree, dear.
Oh, dear. All right, well, listen. This is what I'll do for you, Arthur. When we go to Prisoners for a fry-up afterwards, I'm going to have a little bit of brown sauce.
Mm-hmm. Is that right? You've turned as well. You were a veggie, weren't you?
I may have turned. I may have turned the other way. I may have come out of the closet.
You've seen the light.
I've seen the light and I've tasted the sausage. And man alive, they taste so good, don't they?
Travel news for Beds, Herts and Bucks.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Long delays now of up to about 2 hours on the M25 heading anti-clockwise. A serious accident earlier closed between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 the M40. We are seeing queues from junction 20 for Kings Langley. Taking a look at the M25 heading clockwise, that's looking slow as people are slowing down to look at the accident on the other side of the motorway there. In Maple Cross, very slow on the A412 heading southbound between junction 17 Maple Cross and Oxford Road. So far, taking a look at the trains, not seeing any reported problems or delays. Everything's running to time. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much. If you missed Jeff's call this week, it's wonderful. What a lovely good old sport he was. It's on the Facebook page. Go and have a little listen. And Philippa and Adrian, for goodness sakes, grow a pair and foam up if you want.
And vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: family want answers after woman left dead in warden-controlled home. M25 closed in Hertfordshire and sinkhole residents still waiting to return home.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The family of a Hertfordshire pensioner are considering legal action, claiming she may have been left dead for 3 days before being discovered at her warden-controlled home. 76-year-old Sylvia J died at the Bean River View home, run by Sanctuary Supported Living in Hertford. She was discovered by another resident. Sylvia's daughter Linda told this programme she wants answers.
Someone's got to take responsibility. They've got to give me an answer. Why that knock? Why has my mum never got a knock on that door at 9:30? That she was previous getting it. Why did it suddenly stop? Maybe my mum could have been alive now. My mum could have been saved.
The M25 is closed in Hertfordshire after a serious accident earlier this morning. The anti-clockwise carriageway is closed between junction 17 for Maple Cross and junction 16 for the M40, following a crash involving a lorry carrying wood and a lorry carrying beer barrels. There are lengthy delays across the area. Residents who had to be evacuated after a sinkhole opened up in Hemel Hempstead in February have been told it will be anything up to 3 months before they can move back in. 15 households are still living in hotels, 14 in rented accommodation, and 4 households are staying with family and friends. Susan Lewington has moved back to Oatridge Gardens, but is still without some services.
No landline, no internet and no gas. But because I lived in a hotel for 6 weeks, I don't care. I'm just glad to be back. It was the worst experience of my life.
3 of the 4 women who claim they were sexually harassed by the former Liberal Democrat Chief Executive Lord Reynard have renewed calls for his expulsion from the party, despite an apology he issued last night. One of the women is Susan Gashak from Hertfordshire.
After 15 months of saying, this isn't true, these women aren't believable, he's now saying, yeah, well, maybe something did happen, and that's really bringing the party into disrepute, and the party bodies and Nick need to actually stamp on this and say it's time to go.
Firefighters rescued a man from a flat in Harpenden last night. They were alerted by a neighbour just before midnight to the fire in the High Street. A Hertfordshire council says joint action with the police meant they could disperse an illegal traveller camp in just over a day. The group set up on council land in Boreham Wood at the weekend. More from Carol Abercrombie.
Environmental health officers from Hertsmere Council worked alongside the police, using a combination of legal powers to move the travellers on from Wansford Park. The police were able to remove them on Saturday night, as the council, which owns the land, had already taken reasonable steps to ask them to leave. The council say they always look to take firm and swift action in these cases.
In sport, former England cricket captain Andrew Flintoff has come out of retirement to play for Lancashire in this season's 2020 competition. The 36-year-old retired in 2010. The weather: rain or drizzle dying out this morning to leave some bright or sunny intervals. A maximum temperature 17 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
I like the old part where you've got a lot of nice green trees, nice park. Yeah, nice. I like it up that part.
It's all about where you live.
If you smile at somebody, they'll tend to smile back at you, so it's quite nice. A friendly area.
And all this week we're featuring Dunstable.
It's not as big as other places, but it's quite like a community feel.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, and suddenly it's nearly 4 minutes past 8. I'm a little bit closer to having some brown sauce all over my sausage. think I've ever had brown sauce before. Wait, it's kind of like... Is it fruity?
Yeah, it's bitter, though.
Like the Northerners.
Yeah, it's fruity, bitter, it's got a zing. Like me.
I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna have some.
It's savoury. It's for grown-ups, not for kids.
The implication being there that Tommy Ketch is for kids.
Well, your previous comment suggests you might be more of a Tommy Ketch man.
Can you mix it up, make like a sort of working man's cocktail sauce, prawn cocktail sauce?
But it's a bit like crossing the streams in Ghostbusters.
Okay, dangerous territory. Lots coming up in the last hour of the show before JVS comes on at 9. Including, well, we're going to hear from a lady who lives in a warden-controlled care home who, well, she discovered her friend had died and perhaps had been dead for maybe as much as 3 days. Incredible story. Well, also, I can't quite remember how we got to this. We're taking your calls on the small humiliations that you had at school. I was shouted at my first day at school because what I thought was a brilliant poem. Turns out it wasn't a poem, it rhymes. And Catherine, at the age of 4, was not given a Kojak lollipop because she hadn't said thank you before it was handed to her. Oh. Facebook.com/BBC3CR, the place to go if you want to hear Jeff's call from earlier this week. Or if you want to give me a call now, 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, this is a really sad story. Relatives of a Hertfordshire pensioner are considering legal action, claiming she may have been dead for 3 days before being discovered at her warden-controlled home last week. A warden from Sanctuary Supported Living was supposed to check on Sylvia J every day, but when the 76-year-old was found lying on her bed at Bean River View in Hertford on Friday, it seems she'd been there for some time. It's come as a terrible shock for Sylvia's family, as well as the friend who found her, Jane Praed. Well, Jane joins me now. Good morning to you, Jane.
Good morning.
Jane, how long had you known Sylvia?
3 years. Just coming up to 3 years.
And what was she like?
She was a very tiny lady. She was very nervous, but she was a very gentle lady. And she loved her singing and she loved her music.
Oh, and she lived... Did she live above you, is that right?
Yes, she just lived above me.
So she wasn't one of those neighbours that was constantly playing their music too loud, was she? Was she one of those?
First thing in the morning, everybody loved listening to her.
Good for her.
We knew it was Sylvie.
Good for her. When did you realise that maybe something wasn't quite right?
Well, I'd rung her on the Wednesday to see if she wanted to go shopping, and I didn't get a reply. But that wasn't unusual because sometimes she just got up and went out with her daughters during the day. But by the Friday morning, I was more concerned because I hadn't heard her music. So I went up there. There was no reply. I rang her a couple of times. Again, no reply. So I went down to see her daughter to see if she had heard her or spoken to her in the last few days. So I knew then immediately there was something more seriously wrong.
Had you
when I came back...
Jane, sorry to interrupt. Had you heard her music on either the Wednesday or the Thursday?
I knew I hadn't heard it on the Thursday. Right. But again, that wasn't unusual. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And what did you do next? You got access to Sylvia's flat, did you?
I did. First of all, I pulled the emergency cord outside and asked, what do I do about getting access into my friend's apartment? And they didn't know, and their records weren't updated. They still only had the warden's name that had been here 6 months previous.
Oh.
Anyway, so after a long talk with him, another resident said she had access to... a little safe that held all the duplicate keys. So she went down and got one, came back up, and I opened the door and we went in.
So it was you and another resident, was it, that went in?
It was, yes.
Just the two of you?
Yes.
And without, bearing in mind we have young listeners, what was the what did you find when you went in?
That she was laying on her bed and that it was quite clear that she wasn't alive, and it was quite obvious, but she was laying on her bed.
That must have been quite upsetting for you.
Oh, distraught. Yeah. Absolutely distraught. And the fact that we hadn't got a warden or that there are other residents here holding these duplicate keys or have access to it, which I wasn't even aware of. So there's something clearly wrong.
Did the property, did it used to have a live-in warden, or has it never had a live-in warden?
Not whilst I've been here. It's never had a live-in warden.
So how is the warden system supposed to work there then?
Full-time, Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. But ever since I've been here, they come in earlier, like maybe 7:30, and go home at 3, and only work 4 days a week.
Now, you weren't they're supposed to knock on the door, aren't they, every morning at 9:30? Is it right that you'd opted out of that?
Yeah, every resident is given a form, and I chose not to be contacted on a daily basis because I live with my husband and we're still quite capable and able.
Do you know if Sylvia had opted out? You don't know?
We did discuss it, but the previous warden would just open your door and walk in because she had the pass key. And I know Sylvia didn't like that.
No, and no one would like that, would they? Someone just... You'd want the decency of a knock or, just...
That's right. No, but she wouldn't. She would just walk in.
Sylvia's daughter, who we spoke to earlier on, she believes that this isn't the first time something like this has happened there. Is that true?
That's correct. Since I've been here, I've known of 2 cases this has happened to, but I'm not as sure of how many days they were left. I know they were over a weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and not found till the Monday.
Now, you're in I would suggest, a slightly lucky position. As you say, you've got your husband there to you can keep an eye on each other. But
that's right.
How does that make you feel living there, knowing that perhaps, people are going unchecked when they've passed away?
Well, I've always believed, and the way I've read the notes and our tenants agreement, is that if you don't wish to be contacted, it is the warden because her desk is at the front where we go in and out, she has to observe residents leaving or entering the building, enabling them to... so that the warden can record a sighting. And if they don't see a resident after 24 hours, they have the power to take further action.
Jane, I'm sorry for the loss of your friend, and I'm sorry that it was you that had to discover that situation, but I really appreciate you coming on and telling your story this morning.
No, it was a pleasure.
Jane, thank you very much indeed. Deary me. Well, we can talk now to Marion Birch, Chief Executive of Age UK Hertfordshire. Marion, what a story.
Yes, it is a tragic case, and it will be of concern to everyone, particularly older people or their families that are currently in sheltered accommodation or considering moving into it. And I think it's something we've been aware of now for some time, and that services provided by sheltered accommodation has changed dramatically over the last few years. And your previous caller there was describing that. Part of it's due to the reduction in supporting people funding, and that has had a big impact on services. But the role of that scheme manager has been greatly reduced across all of sheltered accommodation. So they may not be on site now, used to be, but now, of course, they might be covering many sites and working just during the week. You think, well, what's the point of that?
That sounds crazy, because, hey, guess what? People have accidents and die on Saturdays and Sundays as well.
That's right. It's but it's the office hours as well, because often the area, times of risk are perhaps people getting out of bed in the morning or getting themselves into bed at night, and it's sort of first thing in the morning there might be a fall. That may not have been the case here, but you think, well, why just do it 9 till 4, 5 days a week or 4 days a week?
My mum is in a residential care home, and very briefly we looked at a warden-based system, and we decided it wasn't right for her. But the selling point was that your mum or your dad or your grandparents, they're in a place where there will be someone who will check up on them. They've got their independence, but there's someone there just to keep an eye on them. That's kind of the thing, isn't it? And it sounds like that's not being done.
No, as I say, it's greatly changed over the last few years, and it's important now that older people and their families are very very clear about what's being provided, because it really, really is different. And it could, we've got a fact sheet. Age UK has got a fact sheet which will help people decide on the most appropriate accommodation. For example, it could be extra care, which is like a bit of a halfway house between sheltered accommodation and residential care, and that is available in units in Hertfordshire. So it could be that, or it could be that the person would need residential care instead if there's, if that's the support being offered is not enough. Also, we provide personal alarms, as do local authorities and housing associations. But it does sound as if that scheme did have an alarm system, but whether whether the residents have one available to them, I don't know.
It's the alarm system is great, but it's not a perfect system. If it's on the other side of the floor, you forgot to put it around your neck or something like that, you could be in trouble. I would suggest that if anyone's got concerns about this, do contact us. Our help information line 0845 601 3446, and we can send out the information on the personal alarms and on our fact sheets as well, which means people can get a really good idea of what is available to them and what's the most appropriate, because sheltered accommodation now perhaps shouldn't be called sheltered any longer. It's perhaps just a bit supported living, but not really. It's not that close monitoring that it used to be years ago. Marion, what a sad story. I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Marion Birch, Chief Executive. Why am I struggling with that word today? Of Age UK Hertfordshire. We got a statement from Claire Irwin, National Services Manager for Sanctuary Supported Living. She said, "Our sympathies go to Mrs J's family and friends, and we will extend them every support and assistance at this very difficult time. We're looking into the circumstances and will keep the family fully informed. Mrs J was a vibrant and active member of our community and will be greatly missed." Before we go to travel, can I read you one tweet? We've had a couple of people saying this. Let me read you this tweet, and then I'm going to say nothing, and then maybe you might want to call in with your thoughts on it. Richard's tweeted, "Ian, I feel sorry for the lady who lost her mum in care, but if they were that close, how come she hadn't spoken to mum for more than 3 days?" Let me leave that with you. 08459 455 555 if you want to share your thoughts on that. I'll share mine in a minute.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Still seeing severe delays on the M25 heading anti-clockwise. Still closed between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 16 the M40. We're now seeing queues from junction 21, the M1. And that's due to a serious accident that happened earlier on this morning, causing these delays. The clockwise stretch also looking slow as people are slowing down to take a look. The M40 heading northbound very slow as well, from the Denham roundabout to the M25. And very slowly moving on the A412 heading southbound between junction 17 and Maple Cross and Oxford Road. Taking a look so far, public transport, not seeing any reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Nicola. 8:17, Friday the 30th of May. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a Hertfordshire pensioner are considering legal action, claiming she may have been left dead for 3 days before being discovered at her warden-controlled home. The M25 is closed in Hertfordshire after a serious accident earlier this morning involving a lorry carrying wood and a lorry carrying beer barrels. And residents who had to be evacuated after a sinkhole opened up in Hemel Hempstead in February have been told it will be anything up to 3 months before they can move back in.
BBC Three Counties Radio. BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
Even though it's a small town, you've got a lot of things to do in it.
Inviting everyone to where you live.
It's a lovely town, it's got a great history.
And all this week we're featuring Dunstable.
Best part of Dunstable, the Priory Church. It's just full of history and I love it.
We're just by the lovely clock tower in Ashton Square.
It's a very friendly town and the people are excellent.
If you've got a story everyone should hear about, let us tell them about it.
Dunstable, with the right investment, has the potential to be a very, very prosperous town.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks from BBC Three Counties Radio.
What an image. Can I just say thank you?
Well, I don't know why. One of your shoes is outside on the windowsill. What's going on?
I know why. It's these two planks.
Jonathan, you're such a snitch.
Well, I'm sorry. First of all, you don't put a shoe on a windowsill.
That's bad luck.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
Why is it disgusting?
Because it could have poop or something on it.
It didn't.
Or the windowsill, probably.
It's probably got rabbit poop on.
I checked, it's fine.
Okay.
Also, it doesn't really matter if there's rabbit poop on the windowsill.
I lick those windowsills clean every single day.
Do you?
I wouldn't. They're made of asbestos.
I wouldn't ever put a shoe on a surface like that.
Right, OK. First of all, thank you, John. Just bear with me for a second. Right, Kelly, I know you did it because you came over when you gave me a coffee, which you probably owe me another one now, and you're being all kind of schmoozy. That's when you did it. Nice one.
Did you wear it out, Kelly?
Right. What are you both eating?
I'm not eating anything.
She is now.
I've got chewing gum. Mind your own business.
OK, don't eat your chewing gum on air. Spit it out. And the only reason she took the shoe, be with you in a second, Jonathan, the only reason she took the shoe is because you took the shoes the other day.
I didn't take them. I wore them out and you didn't even notice. I walked out wearing your boots. You didn't even see.
You were wearing them?
Yes. It was hilarious.
You see, does Tim do this?
Can you imagine? He was like, so bye.
And
It's
Danny.
a lot of effort.
I'm talking to...
She had to...
Do your team do that? Your team seem industrious, they seem excellent, they seem focused.
I'd kill them with my bare hands.
Yeah, well, OK. Well, are you suggesting I kill them?
It's up to you.
Karate chop to the windpipe.
Your team.
OK, yeah, we'll kill them. What's on the show this morning?
Coming up on this morning's Big Phone-In at 9, I'm asking... Is it just too dangerous to have dogs around children? It is that subject again.
Yeah.
But let me tell you why. This week, a 9-year-old girl was rushed to hospital after her face was mauled by a Staffordshire Bull Terrier in Houghton Regis. The dog was immediately put down, but the poor girl, Poppy Bright, will be left with facial scars for the rest of her life. Now, her mum wants everyone with powerful dogs like Staffordshire Bull Terriers to recognise that you simply cannot leave them near children. Well, from 9, hear my interview with Zoe. We'll hear what she has to say. We'll hear exactly what happened. And I want your views and your experiences as well. I mean, do you think that this family have just been very unlucky? Or do you think it is just too dangerous to have dogs around children? If you leave dogs around children, any kind of dog, to be honest, it's just a matter of time before things go wrong. Your calls on 08459 455 555. Your views, your experiences on the Big Phone-In this morning from 9.
I saw the pictures on Facebook. That's the little girl.
It is.
Oh, dear.
It's awful. I mean... I don't know how much detail I can go into at this time of the morning, but the dog bit through her lip, and well, she's going to be scarred for life.
She's such a beautiful little girl, and it's the saddest thing, really.
Absolutely, and it would appear that the dog that was an uncastrated male dog had been left in the garden with the 2 children. And this dog that was normally a lovely, friendly family dog...
They always are.
Suddenly just turned and did this appalling attack and then was found by the adult after the screaming in the corner of the garden, shaking. It's just absolutely dreadful. But is it time for people to wake up and smell the coffee and realise that actually it is just too dangerous to have dogs around children? If you do, your children surely are the most precious things in the world. Why on earth would you leave a descendant of the wolf around your children?
Because my dogs are part of my family and my dog would never do that.
Oh, and do you know what I'm going to get today after we've done this programme? I'm going to get the usual old tirade of abuse and I'm going to get the usual old load of photos in of people showing their babies in the dog's bed.
The dog is the baby asleep on the dog. And
look
all
at my gorgeous dog. She'd never hurt the baby. Look, my baby sleeps in the dog's bed. You're a numpty. That's what you are.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Ken's in Luton. Good morning, Ken.
Morning, Ian.
Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ken.
Hey, I've got a bone to pick with you.
Sorry?
I've got a bone to pick with you.
I thought that's what she said. Go on.
How come you didn't play Matt and Colin a record yesterday for their birthday?
Matt and who?
Colin.
Who's Colin?
You said it was Colin from Dunstable's birthday.
Why is your line so rubbish, Ken?
I don't know.
Give your phone a wallop.
Is that better?
Let's see how we get on.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm not Ken Bruce. I'm not going to do requests and big-ups and play birthday tracks.
Well, they're regular listeners.
Tough. If they're regular listeners, they know the rules.
Right, now I sent you an email yesterday and I didn't get it through, but it's a little poem I made up about you and JVS.
No, don't worry, I saw it.
You didn't?
No, I did.
Did you?
Yeah, Kath got it.
Oh, well, see?
Yeah. Anyway, Ken, listen, I need a favour.
Yes.
I need you to record some links for the podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to say, but first this.
First this.
Oh, God, your phone is so rubbish. Say it properly.
At first.
But first this.
At first this.
But first this.
Are we going on Nicky Lauder again?
But first this.
Stop shouting here.
Say it.
At the first.
No, it's not at first this. What is that? No one says at first this. That's not a thing. It's but first this.
Oh. But first this.
Thank you. And then this happened.
I know what you're going to do.
What?
Don't you worry.
What?
You got your hand on that knob again.
And then this happened.
Yeah, I know.
Say it.
And then this happened.
But don't say it like a drunk man.
And this is what happened.
No.
You get the...
All right. Here's Colin and Janet.
Here's Colin and Janet.
This bit's funny.
This bit's funny.
Now, this is a long one, okay? You ready?
Yeah.
Can you take a long one?
Yes.
Here, Iain laughs because he said the word oral.
Iain laughs because he said the word oral.
But without a question mark at the end, because it's a statement.
Does that come under the same heading as walnuts?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Yeah?
So say it.
I've just said it.
No, you said it as a question, mate. It's not a question.
Oh, it's a... What was it again?
A statement.
A statement?
Yeah.
Yeah? What have I got to say?
Here Iain laughs because he said the word oral.
Oh, right. Here Iain laughs because he said the word oral.
Deary me. 08459 455 555 if you want to record some links for the podcast. Going back to this story of this woman, Sylvia J., 76-year-old in a warden-assisted home, died, possibly was dead for 3 days before she was discovered by somebody else, OK? We've had... Well, I read you the Twitter message that we got from Rich. I feel sorry for the lady who lost her mum in care. But if they were that close, how come she hadn't spoken to Mum for more than 3 days? We've also had a text on it, and the text goes... Well, the text goes a little bit further, I think. Going back to the lady whose mum passed away, where was the daughter? Why is she not ringing her every day to check on her? My mum is 60, and I ring her several times a day. She's feeling guilty and looking to put the blame on someone else. Now, I didn't put that to the daughter when she came on. The mum passed away last week, guys, so can we tread carefully on people's emotions and feelings, please? I'd love to get your thoughts on that. Let me read that one more time. Regarding the lady whose mum passed away, where was the daughter? Why is she not ringing her every day to check on her? My mum is 60... and I ring her several times a day. She's feeling guilty and looking to put the blame on someone else. Do you know what? She probably is feeling guilty. You probably would feel guilty if your mum passed away and the body had been left there for 3 days and no one found her. I think it's perfectly reasonable and normal to feel guilty. 08459 455 555. The thing is, my mum's in a care home. I don't phone my mum every day. At the moment, because she's going through a medical treatment, I'm seeing her pretty much every week, once a week. But I don't... in the past and in the future, when this treatment is completed, and by the way, well done, NHS, you're doing a cracking job at the moment, I can go a week, I can sometimes go 2 weeks without speaking to my mum. When the reason she moved into a home, the main reason, was to protect her and make sure that she was fed, and if she fell over, that she was there, she was safe and she was protected. A nice little side issue is that it means I don't have to phone my mum every day. I don't have to worry about my mum every day. I don't have to phone her up and check every day that she's not fallen over, that she's not lying on the floor in a heap. You know, I don't need to do that. It's a tiny side issue, but it's a great issue. Having an elderly parent, ill or otherwise, it can be hard work on the family. And so it's all right, isn't it, for the family not to have to call them every single day. I don't think that's cold. I don't think that's heartless. That doesn't show a lack of love.
I think in Sylvia's case, she was obviously a very independent woman. There is a hint there that she was a bit annoyed by people calling in whenever they felt like, and she used to go out, so she wouldn't necessarily be around to take phone calls or require that, you'd think.
Are we being cold? Who's being cold here? Is it me or is it the texter? Let me read the text one more time. I would love your phone calls on this, please. OK, it's about an elderly woman who died in a warden-controlled home. She may have been left there for 3 days dead. OK? And the texter says, going back to the lady's mum who passed away, where was the daughter? Why is she not ringing her every day to check on her? My mum is 60. I ring her several times a day. She's feeling guilty and looking to put the blame on someone else. Agree or disagree? 08459 455 555. BBC Three Counties Radio. Let's get the travel news now.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 heading anti-clockwise. We're seeing delays of up to about 2 hours now after an accident that happened earlier on this morning. It's closed between junction 17 for Maple Cross and junction 16, the M40. We are seeing queues from junction 21, the M1 now. And taking a look at some other routes that are being affected in Maple Cross. Very slow on the A412. That's between junction 17, Maple Cross and Oxford Road. Also very slow on the A404 heading eastbound between junction 18 at Chorleywood and Park Road. And also looking very slow on the M40. That's heading northbound from the Denham roundabout to the M25, and queuing on the Barnet bypass heading southbound between Stirling Corner and Mill Hill Circus. No reported problems on the trains. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Nicola, thank you very much. Well, the phones have lit up since then. There are a few lines free. I do hope you're all coming on and want to come on the radio and express your point of view on this. 08459 455 555. Maybe we'll speak to you after the news at 8:30 with Simon Oxley.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
The headlines: the family of a Hertfordshire pensioner are considering legal action, claiming she may have been left dead for 3 days before being discovered at her warden-controlled home. As we've been hearing, the M25 is closed in Hertfordshire after a serious accident earlier this morning involving a lorry carrying wood and a lorry carrying beer barrels. And residents who had to be evacuated after a sinkhole opened up in Hemel Hempstead in February have been told it will be anything up to 3 months before they can move back in.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Lancashire have confirmed that the former England cricket captain Andrew Flintoff has come out of retirement to play for them in this season's 2020 competition. The 36-year-old retired in 2010 but has recently returned to training with the county.
People have said, it's a brave call. It's not a brave call. I'm playing a game. I'm going to go and play cricket. I'm not in Afghanistan with the troops. I'm not battling illness like you see some kids. That's brave. Yeah. This is playing a game I enjoy.
England's footballers continue their World Cup preparations against Peru at Wembley this evening. It's the last home friendly before the squad play 2 matches in Miami before heading to Brazil. Captain Stephen Gerrard says competition for places is fierce.
I think everyone's impressed, certainly the young lads. They've done fantastically well, and there's 2 great players fighting for, each position. Everyone's capable of being picked in the 11, and that goes to show that the standard's very high and that we want to perform very well as well.
And ahead of tonight's game, England striker Ricky Lambert is set to complete a £4 million move from Southampton to Liverpool. Elsewhere, Milton Keynes hosts the Women's FA Cup final on Sunday between Arsenal and Everton. It's a 4:30 kick-off at Stadium MK. The match also live on BBC Two. In athletics, the Bedford International Games celebrates 20 years by expanding to both days this weekend, with many athletes preparing for this summer's Commonwealth Games. The highlights include Adam Jamili and Mark Lewis Francis in the 100 metres and David Weir and Hannah Cockcroft in the Paralympic events. And in rugby, Bedford have appointed former player Iain Vass as defence coach. It's his 3rd spell at the club. The Blues have named Nick Fenton-Wells as their captain for next season. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
OK, so let's just have a little... loads of phone calls on this, and please do keep calling in. Let's have a little recap on the story for those who may have just tuned in, OK? We're talking about Sylvia J., who, 76 years old, lived in what was supposed to be a warden-controlled home. I think they call it sheltered accommodation, don't they, when there's a warden? Supported living, thank you very much, when there's a warden. And she was found by one of her neighbours, one of her friends, dead it's looking like she was probably there for 3 days, dead. Really sad story. Brings up lots of questions on social responsibility and wardens and things like that. We've had a couple of comments. A tweet from Rich. I feel sorry for the lady who lost her mum in care, but if they were that close, how come she hadn't spoken to mum for more than 3 days? And then we had a text. Don't have the person's name, but it's a little bit blunter. The lady whose mum passed away, where was the daughter? Why is she not ringing her every day to check on her? My mum is 60 and I ring her several times a day. She's feeling guilty and looking to put the blame on someone else. Now, can we just tread a little bit carefully, simply because this happened last week? The daughter found out her mum was dead on Friday. Where are we now? A week ago. So it's no time at all. So I don't want to be careful at throwing around insults and things like that, please. And we did speak to Sylvia's daughter, Linda, earlier on in the show. Well, I'm very pleased to say that Pauline has called up. Pauline, you were Sylvia's niece, is that right?
I am, yes.
I'm really sorry for your loss. It must. I can't. It's very sad, isn't it, when we lose someone? And were you close to Sylvia?
No, I wasn't. I'm sort of, because of circumstances, I wasn't. I sort of seem to be closer to my other aunt who lives in Norfolk.
Right.
However, I always hear about my Auntie Sylvie, and my mum, she's got two sisters, my mum and my aunt who regularly try to ring her. Now, my mum lives quite far away and also can't get out all the time, but she does ring my Auntie Sylvie regularly. And so does Auntie Dole and my Uncle Kenny, who...
Uncle Kenny. That's a proper uncle's name, Uncle Kenny. Well done. That's a great name.
I know, it's great, isn't it? I love him dearly. But I feel for Linda. I haven't seen Linda for a lot of years, and if she's listening, we love her very dearly. And I just feel that the pressure on her at the moment and on her other children must be immense. And I think it was Linda actually that went to see her more often, because of circumstances, that's all. But Auntie still hadn't been ill as such, so there wasn't a worry to actually be there, like she had cancer or she had heart disease or something that, they would have had to have been there more regularly for her. So she had a bit more of an active life, so she went and done her thing, really. For people to text in and say, that they 3 days and be cruel like that is not fair, because Linda could have been on holiday or away or anything could have happened. So at this moment in time, she must be feeling guilty enough without that kind of attitude.
Well, this is. Of course. I think when people lose a family member, of course, I think there's always an element of guilt, whatever the situation. This texter here, the daughter's feeling guilty and looking to put the blame on someone else. When you hear that, Pauline, how do you react?
Well, I just don't. I don't think that anybody's to blame apart from the where she was living. She was obviously living in a warden-controlled place for a reason, to be made sure she was looked after. And if she'd have been in her own flat, then it would have been different. But it's a warden-controlled place, which is supposed to have this facility to make sure that these people are looked after at all times. And she's been laying there for 3 days, which is horrifying to me, especially knowing that's my aunt. I couldn't sleep, properly over this. It's been terrible. A big shock. And yes, if anyone's to blame, let's look at where she was and the authorities and how they should have looked after her. And the fact that she'd been ill a couple of days ago, went to the doctors, had a check. Shouldn't they have picked something up that something weren't right? Well, the post-mortem's just been done, and apparently they found that her arteries are blocked. So shouldn't that have been picked up at the time?
Pauline, I hope this isn't too insensitive. Can I play devil's advocate for just a second?
Yeah.
Do we as a society kind of leave the responsibility of our elder and vulnerable relatives to other people when maybe we should be taking the responsibility as family members?
Oh, yeah, family members should take this responsibility, and if anything, me and my mum don't get on brilliantly, but if anything happens to my mum, I've been there. no matter what. And I think if I found out that my mum was really ill, then I would take that responsibility and look after her. Yes, and I do think that, like the Indian culture, they're amazing. They look after their relatives, no matter what. You know, even if they've got a small house, you'll find that they'll bring the mum in and they will look after her. And it's a duty and a responsibility for the family to do so. I think we do pass the buck onto other people, and it's not brilliant. But then there's a lot of people also on their own that also need to be looked after by these ward and control places, etc. And this is not,
Pauline, listen, I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for calling in, and who knows, they might get you in touch with your cousin again at some point.
Well, please give her my number. If you can pass it on.
If you're happy to do that, we will make sure that gets done after the show.
Thank you.
Pauline, thank you very much indeed. Well, there we go. It just... come on, guys, these texts and these tweets, there's not too many of them. Maybe you agree. 08459 455 555. It sits very, very uncomfortably with me. Why was she not ringing her every day to check on her? Well, it's a little bit patronising, ringing to check on her. As far as we know, Sylvia was fine. She was with it. She was independent. She would go to the shops. To suggest that the daughter is looking to put the blame on someone else because she wasn't paying attention to her mum, I think that's very, very unfair. Very unfair. Do you judge me because I don't phone my mum every week? She's got MS and cancer. I don't phone her every day. And go a week, 2 weeks sometimes without speaking to her. Is that bad on me? She calls me when she needs to and when she wants to, and I know that she's safe and she's being looked after. And I call her. Maybe I could call her a little bit more often, perhaps. But it's a tough one. There's Paul. What would you like to say?
Good morning, Iain.
Good morning, Paul.
I was just a bit saddened by what you said a few minutes ago about your own mum and that she was in a home. And one of the advantages of that was you didn't have to call her very frequently, perhaps once a fortnight or something.
I'm sorry that makes you feel sad. Why did it make you sad?
Well, because it seems in some ways reflects society today and their attitude towards older people, their parents even, where somehow if you can get somebody else to take on their responsibility and they're out of sight, it's a bit out of sight, out of mind feel. And it just seems very sad that you wouldn't want to speak to your mum more than once a fortnight.
She really annoys me sometimes. She really annoys me.
But presumably she's elderly and she's certainly unwell from what you say.
She's not old, but she's unwell, yeah.
Yeah, so time is precious.
Yeah.
And you'll never recapture that again. And we all say after our parents go, if only I'd said that to them, if only I'd asked them about that, if only I'd spoken to them about that. And it seems a missed opportunity just to think that, fair enough, they're being cared for somewhere, but that alleviates the responsibility to want to speak to them.
It doesn't alleviate the responsibility to want to speak to them. It alleviates the responsibility on me to be their carer, to be her carer, which I have done in the past. And with the greatest of respect, Paul, you're wrong to say it's out of sight, out of mind. That's a little bit unfair.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry.
She's certainly not out of mind.
No, I shouldn't have used that phrase. I was a carer to my own mother, so I appreciate the strain and effort required as a carer, and I sympathise that it's just a way of getting around that and making you feel that they're better somewhere else. That's understandable. But it's just a business about not feeling, therefore, necessary to talk to them for weeks was more the point I was trying to get across, really. And that perhaps you'll regret that one day that you've...
Oh, of course I regret it. Of course I regret it. But if I phoned her every day until she died, I'd regret not going around to see her every single day. I think whenever, someone dies, there's always regrets. Oh, I should have done this. Oh, I should have, done more.
But don't you think she would love to hear your voice? That she would love to hear you phone her up not every day, but every 2 or 3 days or something.
I'm trying to think if... yeah, she probably would.
I think she would. She may not say that to you because mums are like that sometimes, aren't they, with their sons? But I think she would love to hear from you more frequently. But it's just a personal opinion. I don't know anything about your relationship with your mum.
Could you phone her for me, Paul?
Yes.
Why don't you give her a call?
I would.
You're very, very kind, Paul. Thank you very much indeed. Well, now I'm feeling really guilty. She can't tune into this radio station. She doesn't know I work in show business. She thinks I'm an accountant. I've got a proper job. And if she knew I was doing this, she would kill me. Now I'm feeling guilty. Oh, for goodness sake. But my mum annoys me. And she's allowed to. I bet your mum annoys you sometimes, Kels. It happens, you know. That's family dynamics, you know. And my mum's adorable and wonderful, and sometimes she annoys me. And that's... Oh, God, now I feel really guilty. Paul's put me totally in my place. I feel guilty now, Kath. I feel guilty.
Yep, that's your role as a son to feel guilty.
Oh, yeah, you're...
But, yeah, you should ring her.
Oh, but she gets on my nerves.
But that's her job. You got on her nerves.
So my job is to feel guilty.
And allow her to get on your nerves because you probably put her through years of irritation.
What are you talking about?
Just saying.
I was an awesome son.
I bet you're a nightmare.
Shut up. Why would you think that?
Because you're a nightmare friend.
How would you know? Have you spoken to my friends?
Yeah. Speak to Scott all the time.
Scott's not a friend.
You talk about him.
He follows me on Twitter.
You talk about him loads.
Yeah,
Freddie Mortimer told me.
Scott's my friend.
You can have Scott as your friend. He's a weirdo. Matt's on the line. Good morning, Matt.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Matt. I know you've got experience with this. Go on.
I'm really disgusted with this guy. Here we go again, sending tweets and all this rubbish.
Yeah.
How can he say things like that? That is...
I've just got another one. Can I read you this email from someone else called Ian?
Yeah, you'll make me more.
I will do. Let's blame someone else. Ian, that relative is lining up a claim. No sympathy, I'm afraid.
Wait till it happens to them. Wait till it happens to you. You don't know what's around that corner. I'd like to meet these guys with the tweets. Anybody can send a tweet. Get on the phone and speak to you. And let's find out what this guy's about. He's got no heart. The lady's done her best, and it's all down to the home. All down to the home. It's not proper supervised. They hadn't got the warden on control. No way can you blame. It's all to do with the home. So she's got to try and sort something out. All right, so she gets compensation. These homes are getting away with murder. We keep on about it every week. Jonathan talks about it at least once a month. So why can't we get the government to push these homes to make sure they got full staff?
Because it costs too much money.
Well, I'm sorry, Ian. I'm sorry, Ian. That's not good enough. I'm sorry, it's not good enough. Because you know as well as I do, when you go and see your mum, if you notice something in the home, you will pick it out and you will tell somebody. But if there's nobody there to tell, and there's no warden full-time, which they're supposed to have and they're getting paid for, please tell me, get it all back to the government control. Everything back to government control. Privatisation, Ian, has ruined the care business. Ruined it completely. It's taken away the sympathy from the actual job.
Matt, I've got to end it there simply because we're out of time, but I really appreciate your point, and I know your experiences with care homes in the past, and I can hear the passion in your voice.
Ian.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Matt, have a great weekend, mate. Thank you very much indeed.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M25 heading anti-clockwise, still seeing delays at the moment of up to about 2 hours because of an accident that happened earlier. Still closed between junction 17 Maple Cross and 16 the M40. Queues at the moment from junction 21 the M1. So recovery work is now taking place after the accident. Some roads affected in Rickmansworth. The A404 heading eastbound looking slow from junction 18 Chorleywood Park Road. Also Maple Cross very slow moving on the A412 heading southbound between junction 17 Maple Cross and Oxford Road. The M40 is looking slow heading northbound from the Denham roundabout to the M25. So far on the trains, no reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Nicola. Have a good weekend. Oh no, we'll speak to you before the end of the show. What am I talking about? It's 8:47. It's Friday the 30th of May. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a Hertfordshire pensioner are considering legal action, claiming she may have been left dead for 3 days before being discovered at her warden-controlled home. The M25 is closed in Hertfordshire after a serious accident earlier this morning involving a lorry carrying wood and a lorry carrying beer barrels. And residents who had to be evacuated after a sinkhole opened up in Hemel Hempstead in February have been told it will be anything up to 3 months before they can move back in. Coming up, your phone calls, but before that, let's get the latest weather. Here's Georgina.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's an improving picture today, as this morning a little bit of a cloudy start with some spots of drizzle around, but by this afternoon we've got enough breaks in that cloud to allow some sun to shine through. So they will just be sunny spells, though we are holding on to that cloud a little more than we'd like until the end of the day. So hopefully it'll be a dry day for most of us. There may just be the odd light shower here and there. And as we head to, temperatures reaching 15 or 16 degrees Celsius. As we head towards this evening, that cloud gradually fades away, so we're left with a largely dry and clear night. So without that cloud as a blanket, we've got temperatures down to about 8 or 9 degrees Celsius, so a little cooler than it has been recently. And tomorrow, quite a decent day, probably the better of the two for the weekend. We should have some sunny spells. It's going to be largely dry and bright, maybe just 1 or 2 showers, but not for everybody. And temperatures reaching 16 or 17 degrees Celsius. Sunday, though, any sunshine is probably going to be a bit more on the hazy side. It's going to be a bit more cloudy, and we've always got the possibility of a shower too. But come Monday, we've got more of those outbreaks of rain. Fairly drizzly start to the week, but hopefully with some drier, brighter spells. That's your latest forecast.
Every weekday morning.
My show's called The JVS Show, 9 o'clock in the morning on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Jonathan Vernon Smith.
I deal with the consumer problems that affect people all over Beds, Hearts and Bucks.
And I said, well, I didn't come all this way to be looking at a broken down hotel.
Those companies, those councils, those organisations that are letting people down.
This guy turned around and said to me that they're not prepared to pay me, and I said, so you're forcing me to take action. And he said, good luck, and put the phone down on me.
I get my teeth into them.
Oh, Jonathan, I'll start crying soon. We don't know what to do.
Deal with them and hopefully get results for you, the consumers.
And it got so convoluted, I thought there's only one person who can sort this out.
The JVS Show on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Avril's in Harpenden. Morning, Avril. Avril. She's gone. Oh, Avril, are you back?
Who, Avril?
Avril.
Yes, I am.
Hello, Avril. Sorry, we lost you for a second. Somewhere in time and space, we've got you back. What can I do for you?
Well, if my daughter phoned me 6 times a day, I'd probably have to kill her.
Oh, wow, really?
Well, who wants to be interfered with when you're going about your business? I mean, my daughter's in her 60s anyway, so perhaps somebody should be phoning her. I have one of these emergency buttons that you hang around your neck.
Yes.
And very efficient it seems too. And they have their life to lead. I have my life to lead as well. I would love it if she phoned me up and think, oh, this is a really interesting bit of television I was watching, or, oh, God, I was having a little nap. What silly cows phone me up now, you know? It would annoy me to death. They keep an eye on me. Come round for a drink every Sunday morning, you know, or most Sunday mornings, and my son phones me up now and again. But they know if I need them, I would phone them and come round.
How often... You've said something really interesting I'm going to pick up on in a second. You said something I couldn't verbalise, and you've done it brilliantly, and I'll say that in a minute. But how often does your daughter phone you?
Well, never, unless she's saying, shall we go to the theatre a week on Tuesday? I've got tickets.
And does that make you feel sad or ignored or anything?
That's lovely. That's how I want life to be. I have a life of my own. She has a life of her own.
And that's the point that you've said that I hadn't been able to put my finger on. Your kids have got a life of their own.
Well, of course they have.
You want your children to live their life and enjoy their life without worrying about you, don't you?
Yes. I mean, there might come a time when I need looking after, because I am knocking on a bit. But... You know, until that time comes, why should they have... They've got enough worries of their own. There are enough worries in everybody's life without worrying unnecessarily about their mother. Somebody will contact them if something really nasty happens. I've got neighbours who keep an eye on me. If they saw my car standing outside for more than 2 or 3 days, they might think, whoops, something's up, you know, but no.
Avril, I appreciate your call, thank you. We want the best for our kids. We want our kids to have their own lives, not worrying about us constantly, don't we? Don't we?
We've had a phone call from a care professional who says that they work in this area and that things are changing across the board. The government and county councils now are having to look at operating these facilities in a different way, and it's very unusual these days that you would get someone who actually lives or is permanently on site. This person already covers 3 sites as a sort of floating warden.
Gosh.
And on a bad day, if people are off work, sick, etc., she can be covering 7 different facilities.
Wow.
She also told me that check calls, you should, there's no excuse for not keeping up with a check call, but lots of people opt out, and you don't have to tell your family members that you have done that. So your mum, your dad could decide they don't want to be bothered because they're feeling fine, and you would never know about that because that's their decision as an adult. She did say, though, that most managers, if they're worth their salt and they know their clients, would make sure that they keep an eye on people regardless of whether they wanted a check call or not.
OK, Catherine, thank you very much. Dave Luton's on the line. Morning, Dave.
Good morning, boss.
Dave, what would you like to say?
You've disgusted me.
Go on, what?
You have disgusted me regarding your mother.
Oh, flipping hell, here we go. Everybody's business.
Yeah, I know. Your mother has got, what, cancer?
Yeah.
And when do you know if she's going to be here today, tomorrow, next week?
I don't know that, Dave. I don't know that.
Well, the case is, that lady was just on the phone just now about, not ringing her daughter, or the daughter doesn't ring her mum.
Yes.
Most of her has a different situation. She hasn't got health problems like your mum.
Yes.
Right. Don't you put it into your mind, I must ring my mum.
No.
She's got cancer.
No. Why should her having cancer make a difference?
Because she may be here today and gone tomorrow.
That's unlikely.
What? How do you know?
Well, because I go and sit with her every Tuesday while she has chemotherapy.
Yeah, but...
And when we went for the results of the scan on Tuesday, when I dashed off straight after work to get to Windsor for 10:15, we were told that the tumour was smaller and was softer, and that they may not even have to do a mastectomy on her now. Isn't that great?
Well, that's great, but
So what's your point, Dave?
Well, you should be ringing her every day.
Why?
When my late mother was alive, she was in the water controlled. And I run her every day to see how she was.
But Dave, that's you, and that's great for you. Well done. Why should I be doing it? And why should you?
That's your mother. Hold on, that's your mother, not a friend that you knew long time ago or something like that. It's your own mother.
How often did you go
into this world?
How often did you go and see your mum?
How often?
Yeah.
I saw my mother every day for the week. But in the weekends, I had my other brothers and other relations going to her.
Right. Well, I'm sorry you're so upset by my relationship with my mother, Dave, but with the greatest of respect, it works perfectly for us.
Well, the other situation is ward and control. When my mother was alive, she was in a ward and control. The warden slept there.
Right, they don't do that.
This ward and controlled now.
They don't do that anymore.
Well... this ward and control business gets on me because it should be there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah, but they don't do that anymore.
Well, I'm sorry, but it's a sad day for me today regarding you and your mum.
Dave,
sorry,
Dave.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm sorry that you feel sorry because of me. That's not my responsibility. That sorrow is coming from you somewhere. I'm not making you feel sorry.
No, it's sorry in my own mind that a man has ignored his mother for 2 weeks, maybe a week. That's your own mother. You've got to think the world of your mother. So, I'm very sad to say this regarding your dad.
Dave, I'm going to come in and I'm going to tell you to shut up with the greatest of respect, because you used a word there that's not true.
What's that?
You used the word ignored. That's not true.
Well, you have ignored because you're not talking to her for a week or 2 weeks.
Dave, that's not ignoring. Because do you know what else I'm doing during the week?
What's that?
I'm sorting out her bank accounts. I'm sorting out the financing for her care home. I'm sorting out where and when she's going to go for treatment. I'm sorting out what we're going to get her for her birthday. I'm responsible. I've got power of attorney over her. I'm sorting her life out for her, Dave.
Okay.
So where's the ignoring?
10 seconds to ring your mum and to say, hope you're all right, mum. Yes, blah, 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 everything else. And that'll put ease into her mind that her loving son is thinking of her daily.
She knows, but she doesn't need that reassurance from me. She knows I'm thinking of her daily. She doesn't need that reassurance.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't agree with your way of life to mine.
Well, what you did worked for you and worked for your mum, and that's fantastic, and I'm really pleased for you. What I'm doing works for me and for my mum and for my children and for my wife.
This is a terrible mixed up world, isn't it, of society?
Not in my world. It's not. It's really works really, really well.
Well,
Sherry, very quickly, we've got 30 seconds. What would you like to say?
Sherry, it's Sherry here. I'm sorry, Ian, but I can't agree with that man. I feel so sorry for you. You know that you have all the responsibility, and some people just don't understand. You know what you do, and you do it well, very well. And I wasn't aware that your mum had cancer now. I thought she had MS.
She's got MS and she's got breast cancer now. But the treatment is going all the right way, Sherry. It's great news. Thank you. We've got to end it there because we're out of time. Well, blimey, that was a roller coaster ride of emotions, wasn't it? The phone number is 08459 455 555. If you want to speak to JVS, I suggest you start dialing it now.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
M25 heading anti-clockwise, still seeing delays of up to about 2 hours because of an earlier accident. Now still closed between junction 17 from Maple Cross and 16 the M40. We are seeing queues from junction 21 the M1 at the moment. Some other roads affected from this, very slow on the A404 between junction 18 for Chorleywood and Park Road. Also very slow at the moment on the A412 heading southbound between junction 17 from Maple Cross and Oxford Road. The M40 is looking slow heading northbound from the Denham roundabout to the M25. So far on the trains, not seeing any reported problems or delays. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Nicola. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? Don't worry, I'm confident enough in my lifestyle choices to know exactly what I'm doing. Hey, there's a new podcast coming out in a few hours. Man, it's a doozy. If you want to get it, go to the BBC Three Counties website. It'll be on iTunes later on. JVS is up next. Until Monday morning at 6 o'clock. Ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Ian. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Friday. It's 9 o'clock. And on today's Big Phone In, is it just too dangerous to have dogs around children? This week, a 9-year-old girl was rushed to hospital